I have 5 sisters and they are all hot. Lin Hai looked at the villa that had been swept away and wanted to cry but had no tears. 7 days ago, Lin Hai's father died in a car accident. As a result, major banks came to collect the money, which led to the break of the capital chain of the Lin Group. All assets were forcibly auctioned by the court to repay the debts. This luxurious villa, the high-end furniture and several luxury cars in it, were snatched away by the creditors who rushed in. Today, another creditor will come to the door in person and take the villa away directly. Lin Hai grew up here since he was a child and is full of affection for every plant and tree here. Now that his father is gone, the only house in the family can't be kept. Where should he live in the future? Also, Lin Hai has already discussed with his fiancée, who has been in love for several years, that the wedding will be held next month. What can Lin Hai, who doesn't even have a house, use to marry his fiancée Chen Jie? Just then, an exciting and majestic engine roar suddenly exploded on the street. A white Lamborghini came rushing and stopped at the door of the Lin family villa. The car door was raised, and a young man and woman got out of the white Lamborghini. The man had a proud and arrogant face. The woman was dazzling, with a proud face. Chen Jie. After getting off the car, the man and woman quickly got close to each other, with an extremely intimate look. Lin Hai looked at the girl carefully for a while and found that she was his fiancée, Chen Jie, the eldest daughter of the Chen family, who he had been in love with for many years. Since the Lin family got into trouble, Lin Hai was busy dealing with the affairs of the Lin Group and had not seen Chen Jie. Unexpectedly, 7 days later, this fiancé appeared in front of him with a rich second generation. Lin Hai. Chen Jie was stunned. She didn't expect to meet Lin Hai here. She avoided her eyes and didn't dare to look at Lin Hai. She looked guilty. At this time, an arrogant voice sounded. Har har, you are Lin Hai, the young master of the Lin family, right? I am Pan Xiong, the heir of the Pan family. I am here today to take this villa away. Pan Xiong sneered and looked at Lin Hai with disdain. Why, you seem to know my girlfriend. Lin Hai's face was livid, his breathing was heavy, and his eyes were fixed on Chen Jie, who was lowering her head. Your girlfriend? How long have you been dating? Pan Xiong was about to answer, but Chen Jie suddenly looked up and stared at Lin Hai with extremely cold eyes. You don't need to ask, I'll tell you. Mr. Pan and I have been dating for a week. Lin Hai was startled, then clenched his fists and sneered a few times. 1 week? What a coincidence. A week ago, Lin Hai's father happened to be in trouble, and the Lin Group was in turmoil. At this time, Chen Jie, his fiancée who had been in love for several years, cheated on Lin Hai. In the past few years, Lin Hai has taken good care of Chen Jie and doted on her. Lin Hai's father was afraid that he would become a playboy, so he had strict restrictions on his living expenses every month. But for Chen Jie, Lin Hai lived frugally and spent all his money on her. Brand name bags, luxurious clothes, and global travel. Let Chen Jie, who came from an ordinary family, live the life of an upper-class socialite in advance. Now that the Lin family is bankrupt, Lin Hai doesn't think about himself, but is still worried about whether Chen Jie will be wronged in the future. Unexpectedly, Lin Hai's infatuation was shattered by the reality in front of him. Lin Hai, I was afraid that you couldn't stand the stimulation, so I didn't tell you. Now that we just met, it's a good time to make things clear. Now that your Lin family is bankrupt, you are not a big master anymore. I don't want to marry a loser and suffer every day. Besides, although Mr. Pan and I have only been dating for 7 days, I don't know how happy I am. It's much better than when I was with you. Chen Jie looked at Pan Xiong with a flattering face, and took the initiative to tiptoe and kissed him on his bumpy face. Lin Hai was so angry that veins on his forehead were popping, his eyes were red, and he felt sick in his heart. This bitch who curries favor with the powerful. After several years of passionate love, Chen Jie never took the initiative to kiss Lin Hai. She said that everything would have to wait until they got married before she was willing to give everything to Lin Hai. I didn't expect that she would be so flattering and wanton in front of Pan Xiong. Pan Xiong stared at Lin Hai with a smug look on his face. Young Master Lin, stop talking nonsense and hand over the property certificate and other things. This villa is nice. After I get it, I will bring Chen Jie to live in it and have fun. Chen Jie patted Pan Xiong coquettishly. Hate it. There are outsiders here. The two of them flirted openly in front of Lin Hai, which made him furious and trembling with anger. This villa is the house that Lin Hai is going to use for marriage, and this pair of dogs and bitches actually want to take it away directly and use it as a brothel. A gentleman can be killed, but not humiliated. Lin Hai clenched his fists, staring at the complacent Panxiong, and was about to step forward and teach this bastard a lesson. At this time, a voice sounded from behind the door of the villa. "Master, the master is gone, and I should go back to the countryside to retire." Butler Lao Wang, carrying his luggage, strode out of the villa and looked at Lin Hai with a melancholy face. Looking at this Butler Wang who had witnessed his growth since childhood, Lin Hai looked gloomy. "Uncle Wang, my family has gone bankrupt, and I am no longer a young master." Old Wang patted Lin Hai on the shoulder. "Young master, don't be discouraged, the master has already made arrangements, you have to believe him." After that, Old Wang took out a letter from his arms. "This is from the master, young master, open it and take a look." Lin Hai opened the envelope with a suspicious look on his face, and saw a sentence on the letter paper, which was obviously his father's vigorous penmanship. "Xiao Hai, there are unexpected events in the world. If I have any accidents, remember to contact your 5 sisters and ask them to come back to help." 5 sisters? Lin Hai looked confused and didn't know what his father was doing. He has always been an only child. When did he have 5 more sisters? Housekeeper Wang smiled slightly. "Master, since their wife died unexpectedly 20 years ago, although the master has not remarried, in order to accumulate blessings and bless the young master with a safe life, he adopted and sponsored 5 little girls in the orphanage. Now, 20 years have passed. With the help of the master, these little girls have grown up and have good careers." After that, housekeeper Wang took out an address book and handed it to Lin Hai. Lin Hai took the address book with a confused look on his face, looking at the names on it, with a face full of confusion. Eldest sister Lin Fang, the female president of Fanghua Group, the richest person in Jiangnan, with a net worth of over 100 billion. Second sister Lin Yu, a popular fighting goddess on the internet, has won the gold belt many times. Third sister Lin Yi, a famous actress for many years, has great power in the entertainment industry. Fourth sister Lin Tong, a famous doctor nationwide, has carried forward traditional Chinese medicine. Fifth sister Lin Ying, on the surface, is a flight attendant, but has multiple identities and mysterious whereabouts. At this moment, Pan Xiong pointed at Lin Hai and said with disdain, "What are you two whispering about? Hand over the villa and get out immediately." Chapter 2, The Eldest Sister Makes Her Grand Entrance. Butler Wang glanced at Pan Xiong indifferently. "Young master, shall I call Miss Lin over?" he asked. He pulled out his phone and dialed the top number in his contacts list. The eldest sister, Lin Fang, CEO of Fanghua Group. Lin Hai was still stunned. The names in this contact list were so shocking. Some of them were not just internet idols, but people Lin Hai greatly admired and looked up to. He had never imagined that these individuals were actually his half-sisters. HMPH, it won't matter who you call today. Paying debts is a matter of principle. If you don't hand over the villa today, I'll make sure you regret it. Seeing Butler Wang on the phone, Pan Xiong looked at Lin Hai and the others with disdain and shouted loudly. Then, he clapped his hands, and dozens of thugs armed with sticks appeared from the alleys on both sides, glaring menacingly at Lin Hai. It was well known that the Pan family was one of the financial giants of Jiangnan, with connections both in the legitimate world and the underworld. Most private enterprises in Jiangnan had to borrow from the Pan family. To collect debts, the Pan family employed many ruthless and vicious thugs. Today, Pan Xiong had brought many of them. At this moment, Butler Wang hung up the phone and smiled faintly at Lin Hai. "Young master, Miss Lin will be here soon. Let's wait a moment." Pan Xiong's face turned livid with rage when he heard this. "You old fool! Who do you think you are to make me wait?" He stepped forward, pointed at Lin Hai's nose, and cursed, "You little brat, hand over the property deeds for the villa right now." Slap. Without hesitation, Lin Hai slapped him hard across the face. Pan Xiong covered his face, his eyes wide with disbelief as he roared, "Bastard, how dare you hit me? You're a broke loser who's about to beg on the streets, and yet you dare to slap me." Bang! Lin Hai's expression darkened. Without saying a word, he took a step forward and kicked Pan Xiong hard in the stomach. "Oh!" Pan Xiong screamed in pain, flying 3 meters through the air, landing awkwardly on the street. Lin Hai narrowed his eyes, watching Pan Xiong writhe on the ground with satisfaction. "I've been wanting to deal with you for a while. If Butler Wang hadn't told me about my sisters, you'd already be lying down." How dare you show off in front of me? You really have a death wish. Lin Hai's life motto had always been, life and death are trivial matters. If you don't accept it, fight back. Even if his family was bankrupt, he wasn't going to tolerate a petty scoundrel like Pan Xiong. Pan Xiong lay on the ground, dazed. It took him a moment to process what had just happened. Did Lin Hai just hit me? Damn, I got hit by this bankrupt loser. Pan Xiong quickly struggled to get up, his eyes red with fury as he glared at his men. Are you all dead? Didn't you see me get hit? Get over here, and take care of this brat. Let him experience what it's like to beg for death but not be able to get it. Pan Xiong's face twisted with rage as he pointed at Lin Hai and shouted loudly. Yes, young Master Pan. Dozens of thugs roared in unison, grabbing their sticks and charging at Lin Hai. Pan Xiong clung to Chen Jie, gritting his teeth as he glared at Lin Hai. I spit on you. How dare you talk back to my Pan family? You're asking for death. Lin Hai's face darkened. He took 2 steps forward, standing in front of Butler Wang. Uncle Wang, go into the villa and hide. I'll handle them. Butler Wang looked terrified. Young master, no, let this old man stand in front. As the thugs approached, Lin Hai's heart sank. He tried to push Butler Wang inside, but before he could. Whir. A series of helicopter blades suddenly roared from nearby. Everyone on the scene looked up in shock as 5 helicopters flew toward them at high speed. Soon, the helicopters hovered above Lin Hai's villa, and ropes were thrown down from over 50 meters in the air. Whoosh! One by one, soldiers in camouflage uniforms quickly rappelled down to the ground from the helicopters. This stunning sight left Pan Xiong and his thugs stunned. A wave of ominous premonition surged in their hearts. Butler Wang excitedly grabbed Lin Hai's arm. Young master, it should be Miss Lin's people coming. Lin Hai stared in awe at the helicopters and couldn't help but be impressed. So this is the overwhelming power of Fang Hua Group's CEO, Jiangnan's richest woman, Lin Fang. This is terrifying. With just a phone call for help, Lin Fang could send out helicopters and a group of bodyguards to rescue someone. Is this woman really my eldest sister? Don't move. Drop your weapons immediately. Raise your hands. The elite soldiers who had rappelled down from the helicopters, dressed in all black combat gear and holding submachine guns, shouted at Pan Xiong and his men. Thud, thud. Seeing this, the thugs quickly dropped their sticks and obediently raised their hands. Hands on your heads, all of you squat down. The leader, with a stern face, gave another command. The thugs could only comply, lowering their heads in defeat as they squatted on the ground. Report. The area has been secured. The CEO can come down safely now. The Special Forces leader spoke into the radio on his shoulder. At that moment, everyone's eyes turned toward the middle of the sky, where the helicopter had hovered. They saw a graceful and stunning figure leap out of the helicopter, sliding down the rope with incredible speed. She looked magnificent. She was so cool. Lin Hai watched in awe as the woman, wearing black sunglasses and a sleek black leather outfit, descended from the helicopter. Young master, that's Miss Lin. Butler Wang said with a look of immense joy. At that moment, Pan Xiong's eyes widened, and he instantly realized that the woman in his arms, Chen Jie, was no longer of interest to him. Compared to the heroic and unique figure in the sky, Chen Jie looked plain and dull. I wonder what that woman looks like? Pan Xiong swallowed hard, eagerly staring at the figure in the sky. Soon, the woman landed gracefully on the ground, removed her sunglasses, and stood there with an air of confidence. Pan Xiong's eyes widened in shock as he gasped. The dignified and elegant face, the perfect figure, it was none other than Lin Fang, the CEO of Fang Hua Group and Jiangnan's richest woman. Holy cow, could Lin Fang be here for me? Pan Xiong stared at Lin Fang with burning eyes, his heart racing with excitement. Chapter 3. This is too arrogant. Pan Xiong let go of Chen Jie in his arms, tidied his clothes happily, and prepared to introduce himself. I heard that Lin Fang, the famous queen in the country, is still single. If I can take her down today, I can get both money and people. Chen Jie's eyes lit up, staring at Lin Fang intently, with a face full of envy and jealousy. Such a dazzling appearance is really cool. I wish I could be so glorious. 5 helicopters escorted, with dozens of fully armed men at any time. Get out of my way. Just when Chen Jie was daydreaming, a strong force hit her, making her stagger and fall to the ground. Chen Jie turned her head in surprise and saw Pan Xiong glanced at her with disgust. Then, Pan Xiong stared at the Queen Lin Fang a few meters away with an extremely eager look. That look made him want to pounce on her immediately and eat Lin Fang up. Chen Jie was shocked, and a bone-chilling chill spread throughout her body. Didn't Mr. Pan say that he would treat her well for the rest of his life? It's been less than half a month, and he wants to dump her and curry favor with a beautiful lady like Lin Fang? Chen Jie's face turned pale and blue, and her heart was bleeding. At this moment, Pan Xiong only had the radiant Lin Fang in his eyes, and he didn't want to pay any attention to Chen Jie. He stepped forward excitedly, just to get to know Lin Fang, the richest woman. What are you doing? Get out of the way, hold your head and squat. At this time, the stern-looking Special Operations Captain waved his hand unceremoniously and threw Pan Xiong to the ground in an instant. Then, two Special Operations team members stepped forward, firmly controlled Pan Xiong, and pointed their black guns at him. Pan Xiong was so scared that he trembled all over, shut his mouth obediently, and squatted on the ground with his head in his hands, like those thugs, looking very embarrassed. Brother, I'm sorry, I'm late. Lin Hai was stunned, looking at everything in front of him with a dull face. Suddenly, a beautiful figure ran up and hugged him tightly. Who am I? Where am I? What happened? Lin Hai was confused and couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. Pan Xiong, who was more than 10 meters away, had bulging eyes, full of disbelief. The famous and beautiful queen, the famous Jiangnan richest woman, Lin Fang, actually hugged Lin Hai into her plump arms and looked at him with an apologetic face. At this time, Lin Hai was holding a piece of warm and soft jade. A faint fragrance of a girl lingered at the tip of his nose. What he heard was a soft and sweet female voice. Isn't this incredible? How can everyone be so enthusiastic when they meet for the first time? Lin Fang let go of Lin Hai, held Lin Hai's face with her soft jade hands, and said with a distressed look, Brother, you have suffered recently and lost weight. Lin Hai looked at the beautiful face close at hand and asked blankly, Are you really my sister? Lin Fang chuckled and pointed at Lin Hai's forehead with her white jade fingers. Silly boy, of course I am your sister. It's just that father is afraid that we will spoil you too much, so he has never let us see you. Father said that he would wait until the day you get married before we can recognize each other. I didn't expect that he would. Hearing this, Lin Hai's expression was also gloomy. Forget it, the dead can't be resurrected, and we brothers and sisters won't mention him anymore. Lin Fang smiled gently and hugged Lin Hai lovingly. Don't worry, now that father is gone, the sisters will take good care of you. Lin Hai giggled, always feeling that everything in front of him was like a dream, too incredible. Miss, you are finally here. Butler Wang looked at Lin Fang excitedly. Uncle Wang, you have worked hard during this period. Lin Fang looked at Butler Wang apologetically. A week ago, I was abroad for business and didn't hear from my father. I just returned to China today. I received your call and rushed over immediately. How is it? Did I come in time? Butler Wang laughed. It was okay before, but today that kid brought people to the door, making a fuss, saying that he wanted to take away the villa left by the master, and also teach the young master a lesson. Hearing this, Lin Fang's pretty face was slightly cold, and she turned around and glanced at Pan Xiong. Brother, did this person bully you? Lin Hai saw that Lin Fang, his sister, looked at him with concern, and his heart was warmed, and he nodded gently. Seeing this, Pan Xiong, who was squatting on the ground, was so sad that he wanted to cry. Damn it! I was just slapped and kicked by Lin Hai. Who is bullying whom? Brother, let's go and see how I can help you get revenge. Lin Fang held Lin Hai's hand tightly and came to Pan Xiong together. The Special Operations Captain whispered a few words beside Lin Fang. Pan Xiong, are you the heir of the Pan family who specializes in loan sharking? Lin Fang's pretty face was frosty, her tone was extremely cold, and she questioned Pan Xiong condescendingly. Compared with her previous passion and care for Lin Hai, Lin Fang at this time was as cold as ice, as if she had changed into a different person. Boss Lin, that's right, I am the heir of the Pan family, the young master of Pan's financial company, Pan Xiong. Pan Xiong answered with a proud face and straightened his chest. Before, I was taking people to collect debts. I wanted to take back this villa to repay the debts owed to our company by the Lin Group. Lin Fang sneered a few times, letting dozens of men with sticks to collect debts really opened my eyes. Pan Xiong looked aggrieved. You are the richest man in Jiangnan. You drove 5 helicopters and brought dozens of fully armed men to protect Lin Hai. I was also stunned. Okay, you don't have to collect this debt. Stay away from my brother in the future. Otherwise, I will make you look good. Pan Xiong was stunned and said anxiously, Mr. Lin, even if you are the richest man in Jiangnan, you can't be so unreasonable, right? It's only natural to pay back debts. You can't be a rogue in public to protect Lin Hai. Lin Fang smiled and looked at Lin Hai tenderly, and tidied up his messy bangs on his forehead affectionately. Who said I was going to default on my debt? I'm going to buy out your Pan's financial company. Lin Hai is my brother, and my money is his money. When the time comes, I won't have to collect the debt. Lin Hai was shocked when he heard this. This elder sister, whom he met for the first time, actually wanted to buy out the Pan family's company directly in order to pay off his debt. Isn't this too exaggerated? Moreover, Lin Fang also said that her money was Lin Hai's money. Lin Fang is the richest woman in Jiangnan, the richest woman in the country with a net worth of 100 billion. Wouldn't Lin Hai have instantly gone from a poor family to a wealthy person? Chen Jie, who was standing by, regretted it so much when she heard this. A week ago, she was talking about marriage with Lin Hai, and was looking forward to the luxurious life of a wealthy lady in the future. Lin Hai's father suddenly passed away, and the Lin family was on the verge of bankruptcy. At this time, Chen Jie immediately abandoned Lin Hai and embraced Pan Xiong's thigh. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, Lin Hai turned his life around and had a domineering sister who was the richest man. Compared with Lin Fang, the Pan family only had a few hundred million in assets, which was totally not in the same league. Chen Jie glanced at Pan Xiong with disdain, and then stared at Lin Hai with fiery eyes. Chapter 4 Sister, you are so good to me. Lin Fang's words made Pan Xiong shocked and angry. The financial company owned by the Pan family contributes tens of millions of profits every year and is the result of decades of hard work by Mr. Pan. Why does Lin Fang decide to acquire the company just like that? Boss Lin, that financial company is the lifeblood of our Pan family. Even though you are rich enough to rival a country, you can't be so unruly. Lin Fang sneered, har har, don't follow the rules. You brought a group of thugs to bully my brother, and you still have the nerve to talk to me about the rules. She touched Lin Hai's head and said lovingly, brother, watch me avenge you. Lin Fang took out his cell phone and called his subordinate. Immediately send someone to investigate the major scandal at Pan's financial company. We must acquire this company at the cheapest price. At the command of the richest man in Jiangnan, hundreds of business elites immediately took action, focusing on Pan's financial company, preparing to take action. Hearing this, Pan Xiong's face turned pale. Is it possible that a financial company that specializes in loan sharking is free of scandals? Joke. It can be said that under the scrutiny of someone who is careful, there are small problems everywhere. With the means of Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan, he can definitely torture Pan's financial company to death. Ring ring ring. Pan Xiong's cell phone rang. He picked up the call and heard his father Pan Xiong's angry roar in his ears. Where did you go, you bastard? Go back to the company immediately. Someone is asking around for dirt on our Pan family. If something happens to the company, you'll have to beg on the streets. Bang. After Pan Xiong had a lot of nonsense to say, he hung up the phone. Pan Xiong's eyes were dim and he looked panicked. He staggered onto the Ferrari next to him. Boom. He stepped on the accelerator and left the scene directly, leaving Chen Jie and those thugs behind. Seeing this, Lin Hai was filled with admiration for his elder sister Lin Fang. Sister, you are amazing. You scared the shit out of that noisy guy with just one phone call. Lin Fang said proudly, Humph, who let that bastard mess with my brother? Don't worry, give me 1 day and I will buy the Pan family's financial company at the lowest price. After that, you have my sister to back you up, so you can do whatever you want to Pan Xiong. When everyone at the scene heard Lin Fang's domineering declaration, they all looked at Lin Hai with envy. Damn it, how come I don't have such a good sister? No one doubted that Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan, could easily take down the small Pan family. Sister, you are so nice to me. Lin Hai said with a touched look on his face. That's nothing. Everything my sister has today was given by my father. Lin Fang waved her hands, looking nonchalant. Now that father is gone, it's my duty to take good care of you. Lin Fang pondered for a while, and suddenly said, when we take over the financial company under the Pan family, you will be the boss, and all the shares will be yours. I'll be the boss. Lin Hai was dumbfounded, his face full of disbelief. This company has a market value of over 100 million and a net profit of tens of millions every year. When we first met, elder sister Lin Fang gave it to me like this. Lin Fang said earnestly, "Brother, don't look down on this company just because it's small. You are 25 years old and have only been working for a few years. It's a good opportunity for you to practice with this small company and learn more about the business. Don't worry, once you get started, I have a company with a market value of over 10 billion, you can choose any one of them." Upon hearing this, Lin Hai widened his eyes in shock. "Sister, that's not what I meant. How can a company with a market value of over 100 million be small?" A few hours ago, Lin Hai was still worried, wondering where to find a relatively high-paying job so that he could use the salary to pay off his debts and keep the villa left by his father. Unexpectedly, a few hours later, Lin Hai was going to be the boss of a financial company with a market value of over 100 million yuan, and all the shares would be his. It's incredible. What's more, Lin Fang also promised personally that she would give Lin Hai a real big company in the future. "Sister, you are so kind to me, I don't know how to thank you." Lin Hai looked at Lin Fang with emotion, his expression was extremely complicated. "Silly boy, why are you being so polite to your sister? If you say thank you again, I'll be angry." Lin Fang pouted and gently pinched Lin Hai's face, looking angry. "Brother, remember, we are family. If you want something, just tell your sister. I will get it for you even if I have to go through the sky and the sea." With such an infinitely doting sister, Lin Hai was so happy that he was at a loss. No wonder Lin Hai's father didn't want his beloved son to meet his sisters too early. As the saying goes, a loving mother often spoils her child. The older sister Lin Fang alone is enough to spoil Lin Hai. If Lin Hai had been spoiled by his sisters since childhood, he might be even more arrogant than Pan Xiong now. "Lin Hai, let's get back together." At this time, Chen Jie secretly came to Lin Hai, with a flattering and fawning expression on her face. "Before, I was blinded by my own greed and deceived by that bastard Pan Xiong. In fact, you are the only one in my heart. Don't worry, after I marry you, I will be at home every day, serving you and your sister wholeheartedly, and making you comfortable every day." Lin Hai sneered and looked at Chen Jie with eyes full of contempt and disgust. "How can you say such a lie? I never hit a woman. Before I change my mind, you should disappear immediately to avoid dirty in my eyes." Chen Jie's body swayed and her face changed suddenly. She bit her lip and pleaded unwillingly, "Lin Hai, we have been together for several years, you can't be so heartless. I was the one who wronged you before, can you please forgive me this time? I will definitely be a good wife and mother in the future." Lin Hai looked Chen Jie up and down with cold eyes, without saying a word, with a sneer on his face. "This is a shameless whore who curries favor with the powerful. I don't believe you." At this time, Lin Fang stood up. "Hey, please take a look in the mirror. How can a vulgar woman like you be worthy of my brother? Look at the heavy makeup on your face. It makes you look like a ghost. It's disgusting. Come on, there are so many female employees in my company, any one of them is much prettier than you. Moreover, they all graduated from prestigious universities, and their academic qualifications and abilities are among the best in their fields. Compared to them, you are nothing but scum." Lin Fang took Lin Hai's arm and said proudly, "My brother Lin Fang, there are so many beautiful women to choose from, but he got back together with a loser like you. Is he crazy? Brother, am I right?" Chen Jie's face turned pale as paper after being confronted by Lin Fang. Under Lin Fang's sharp gaze, Chen Jie felt that all the dirty thoughts in her heart were exposed and were seen clearly by the other party. She lowered her head, her face full of shame and anger, and she wished she could find a hole to crawl into on the spot. Hearing this, Lin Hai's eyes lit up. "Sister, are the female employees in your company really that beautiful?" Chapter 5, Stinky Brother, Isn't My Sister Pretty? Lin Fang giggled and twisted Lin Hai affectionately. "Har har. Stinky brother, isn't my sister beautiful? You're actually thinking about other girls in front of me. Humph, sister is jealous. Oh my god." The beautiful and charming lady of 30 years old was acting coquettishly towards him like this. Her touching little girl look almost melted Lin Hai's heart. She is worthy of being the nationally famous #1 queen. Lin Hai opened his eyes wide and stared at the beautiful Lin Fang without blinking, his heart beating fast. "If the female employees in my sister's company were 1/10 as charming as she is, I would be content." Seeing Lin Hai staring at her like a goose, Lin Fang burst out laughing. Silly boy, what are you thinking about? Brother, don't worry. Sister said before, whatever you want, I will do everything I can to satisfy you. In a few days, I will pick out a few beautiful women with the best looks and abilities in the company and give them to you as your subordinates. How is it? Is my sister treating you well? Lin Fang smiled playfully, her eyes full of cunning and deep doting. Hearing this, Lin Hai was overjoyed. Har har, sister, I'm just joking. With a sister as good as you, I want to stay with you every day and spend more time with you. How can I think of other girls? Lin Fang was overjoyed when she heard that. She pinched Lin Hai's face and said with a sweet smile, "You little bastard, you have a conscience. Your sister loves you well." The special warfare elites who were watching Lin Fang and her brother fighting were all dumbfounded. Lin Fang has always been a nationally renowned iceberg female president. Over the years, countless well-dressed young men from aristocratic families and various young men with outstanding looks have passionately courted Lin Fang and pursued her diligently. As a result, Lin Fang was reluctant to even give a smile to those suitors. She looked at them coldly and rejected them all rudely. Unexpectedly, today Lin Fang was so affectionate with Lin Hai, a little boy she met for the first time, and did not avoid suspicion at all. As far as everyone could remember, it was the first time that they saw Lin Fang, who was usually cold as ice, acting so charming and lively. In front of Lin Hai, Lin Fang seemed to have taken off all her masks, showing her truest side to everyone, which opened everyone's eyes. Lin Hai and Lin Fang chatted and laughed for a while, and suddenly they noticed out of the corner of their eyes that the thugs brought by Pan Xiong were trying to sneak away along the corner of the wall. "Stop right there!" Lin Hai shouted loudly, causing the thugs to freeze in their tracks. They turned around, with sad faces, and looked at Lin Hai pitifully. "Mr. Lin, we are just following orders. Please give us a way out." Lin Hai glanced at Butler Wang, who was standing in front of the villa gate, and snorted coldly. "If my sister hadn't suddenly arrived, Uncle Wang and I would have been beaten to death on the spot. Isn't it too easy for you to just sneak away like this?" A thug with dyed yellow hair looked at Lin Fang's fully armed men with fear. "Mr. Lin, we and the Pan family are just partners, you can't blame us for this." Behind him, a big man with a tiger tattoo on his forehead started shouting loudly. "That's right, we are Shicheng Tiger's subordinates. If you make things difficult for us, be careful that Tiger will get mad." The big man was afraid of Lin Hai's fierce revenge, so he immediately brought out the big man behind him. Brother Hu is a well-known underground king in the Jiangnan area. The whole Jiangnan region has heard of Brother Hu's reputation. In the opinion of the big man, showing off Brother Tiger's sign was enough to scare the young man like Lin Hai. However, he seemed to have forgotten that Lin Hai had a sister at the scene. "Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan. Har har, Brother Tiger and Brother Snake, they are nothing but chickens and dogs in front of me. Brother, just teach these ignorant people a lesson. I want to see who is tired of living and dares to cause trouble for my brother." Lin Fang glanced at the whole audience with disdain and supported Lin Hai without hesitation. Hearing this, the thugs turned pale and felt very aggrieved. Although Brother Hu is powerful, he can only dominate the underground world. In front of Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan who has connections in both the black and white worlds and tremendous wealth, he is totally not enough. Those thugs knew very well that if they angered Lin Fang, she would be able to kill the seemingly invincible Brother Hu with just a flick of her finger. The big man who had just yelled at Lin Hai was now regretting his decision. If Brother Hu gets into trouble in the future and finds out that it was because he spoke too much, wouldn't that be fatal? When Lin Hai heard Lin Fang's encouragement, he immediately became confident. "Brother Tiger and Brother Long are all trash in front of my sister." He took a few steps forward and stared closely at the big man with a tattoo on his forehead. "Boy, you are quite arrogant. How dare you threaten me in person? Come on, let's practice." After saying that, Lin Hai clenched his fists and rushed forward. "Mr. Lin, I..." Chapter 6, Take You to See the World. How could the big man dare to fight back under Lin Fang's fierce gaze? He was afraid of implicating Brother Hu behind him, so he didn't even dare to dodge. Bang! Lin Hai threw a punch, hitting the tattooed man in the face. R. The big man screamed and was knocked away by Lin Hai, falling on the open space more than 3 meters away. TSK, why are you so weak? I haven't even used my full strength yet." Lin Hai looked unsatisfied and was very dissatisfied with the big man. Snort. Hearing this, Lin Fang snorted coldly and glared at the remaining thugs. Just play with my brother. If he doesn't have enough fun today, don't even think about leaving alive. Snap. Hearing this, the Special Forces captain beside Lin Fang pulled the trigger on his gun and glanced coldly at the entire scene. All the thugs shuddered when they saw this. It seems that if Lin Hai is not allowed to have fun, no one can leave. However, Lin Hai was not satisfied with just standing there without fighting back. But if he really fought back and hurt Lin Hai, wouldn't that be seeking death? In this case, I can only act desperately. These thugs have been on the streets for more than 10 years, and most of them are savvy. They immediately understood what Lin Fang meant. Afterwards, Lin Fang and a group of his men witnessed the superb performance of these thugs. Lin Hai was filled with excitement, and found himself instantly transformed into a god of war. He beat dozens of thugs, making them run away screaming and covering their heads. It feels so good. That's more like it. You're much better than that loser before. Lin Hai's words made the special warfare elites who were watching the excitement on the side look stunned. Oh my goodness. The country's richest woman dotes on her younger brother too much. This young man Lin Hai really knows how to have fun. Relying on his sister Lin Fang's support behind him, he was completely fearless and made these originally ruthless thugs feel very aggrieved. He could only passively take the beating, but he had to pretend to be trying his best. It was really bullying. Under Lin Hai's fierce attack, the thugs brought by Pan Xiong all screamed in pain. Mr. Lin, I was wrong. Brother, spare my life. Be gentle. It hurts so much. With the special warfare elites brought by Lin Fang, those people were brave and aggressive, and usually showed off their power. But facing Lin Hai, who was alone, they could only passively take the beating and dared not fight back at all. Lin Fang snorted coldly when she saw this scene. Brother, you see these people still have the strength to shout, which means you are not strong enough, use more strength. Lin Hai was stunned and nodded. Sister, you are right. After hearing this, the thugs wanted to commit suicide. Aren't you siblings too bullying? We've been beaten to a pulp by you, and you even think our screams are too loud. These thugs have always bullied others by taking advantage of their power, but unexpectedly, today they were fooled by Lin Hai's siblings. Bang! 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 Lin Hai increased his strength and beat Brother Hu's men so hard that they wailed and lay on the ground. Lin Hai taught them a lesson while scolding them loudly. Let you help the evilers. You will oppress the good. Let your numbers bully the few. Soon, dozens of thugs were all knocked down by Lin Hai. They lay on the ground, covering their wounds and grimacing in pain. Lin Hai clapped his hands and glared at the dozens of thugs. Today, I will teach you a lesson. If you still dare to follow Brother Tiger or Brother Dragon, showing off your power and bullying the people, watch out for your heads. Did you hear that clearly? Lin Hai put his hands on his hips and felt so majestic for the first time. The thugs looked hesitant and no one spoke. Seeing this, the Special Forces captain beside Lin Fang raised the black muzzle of his gun and his face darkened. Are you mute? Didn't you hear what Master Lin said? This scene scared everyone terribly. I heard it clearly. Mr. Lin, don't worry, we will change our jobs immediately and never mess around again. Yes, we must listen to Master Lin. When you are under the gun, you have to bow your head. These thugs were not convinced, but facing dozens of fully armed special warfare elites, they did not have the courage to refute Lin Hai. They thought to themselves, you little brat, let's just say a few perfunctory words to you first, and then we'll go back and ask Brother Tiger to teach you a lesson. At this moment, Lin Fang seemed to have heard everyone's voice, and said in a cold tone, do what you say. I'm telling you, if I find out in the future that you didn't listen to my brother, I'll start with your boss, Brother Tiger. I, Lin Fang, will keep my word. If you don't believe it, you can try it. These words made all the thugs present feel a chill in their hearts and look solemn. Lin Fang is the richest man in Jiangnan. Compared with others, Brother Hu is nothing. They looked at Lin Hai with a smug look on his face and felt like crying but had no tears. Come on, I really have to change my career now. Otherwise, if we anger the big sister behind Lin Hai, Brother Hu will be in trouble, and everyone will probably die without a burial place. Yes, Mr. Lin, we must listen to Mr. Lin. Those thugs endured the severe pain, had sad faces, and expressed their opinions tremblingly. Lin Fang snorted coldly and protected Lin Hai. Lin Hai is my biological brother. Tell those ignorant people out there that if anyone dares to bully Lin Fang's brother in the future, don't blame me for being cruel. She said this in a grim tone. Their whole person looks like a tigress protecting her cubs, majestic and domineering. All the thugs shuddered at Lin Fang's cold eyes and nodded frantically. No one dared to look down on Lin Hai anymore. This kid Lin Hai may look insignificant, but he has a good sister who dotes on him to heaven. What can you do? At this moment, Lin Hai looked at Lin Fang, who was protecting him, his eyes filled with tears, and he was extremely excited. He didn't expect that after his father passed away, he would feel the love of family again so soon. Today, my sister sheltered me from the wind and rain. In the future, when I become strong, I will protect my sister for the rest of my life and never let anyone bully her. At this time, Lin Fang turned around and faced Lin Hai. A gentle and sweet smile immediately appeared on the originally cold face. Brother, come with me. I'll take you to visit our company. Lin Fang held Lin Hai's arm, and they walked intimately towards the helicopter that had landed in an open space not far away. Chapter 7, The Beauty is Still Single. The captain waved his hand, and dozens of fully armed special warfare elites formed a battle formation, escorted the siblings on both sides, and boarded the helicopter in the center. The solemn atmosphere and the fierce looks of the special warfare elites made the thugs lying on the ground dare not move. They didn't dare to get up from the ground until Lin Hai and his sister flew away from the scene in a helicopter. Oh my god, this is so scary. Exactly. In this scene, I think even Brother Tiger would have to kneel down. Of course not. With dozens of submachine guns pointed at you, who would dare to act rashly? If we had known that Lin Hai had such a powerful sister, we would never have come here. These thugs left the scene sighing, each with a lingering look of fear on their face. At this time, Lin Hai was sitting on the leather sofa in the helicopter, looking at the crowd outside the window that was like ants, and couldn't help but grinning. Brother, are you so happy to think that I'm going to introduce you to a beautiful lady in the company? Seeing this, Lin Fang looked at Lin Hai with a smile. Sister, you misunderstood. I am just happy that I suddenly have a sister like you. Lin Fang touched Lin Hai's head lovingly. Sister is also very happy. I can finally meet you openly. I will love you very much. Oh, if only my father were still alive. I want to repay him for raising me, but now there's nothing I can do. I can only place all my gratitude on you. After hearing this, Lin Hai began to understand why his father didn't let his sisters meet him earlier. His father had always been very strict with Lin Hai and believed in the idea of raising sons poorly and daughters well. If Lin Hai had been spoiled by his sisters since childhood, he would probably have become a playboy like Pan Xiong. Sister, you are so nice to me, you will spoil me. Lin Hai looked at Lin Fang seriously and said with courage. Hey, I do. Lin Fang said confidently, you are my brother, I am not afraid even if you are spoiled. I will treat you well and support you for the rest of my life. At this moment, Lin Fang turned into a domineering female president again, a 100% brother-loving demon. Soon, the helicopter carrying the two people arrived at the core business district with tall buildings. Sister, which building is your company's? Lin Hai looked out the window, looking around curiously. Yes, this whole area is full of them. Lin Fang pointed at the ground and drew a circle, which left Lin Hai stunned. Oh my god! My sister is so rich. In the atmosphere painted by Lin Fang, there are more than a dozen high-rise buildings with similar design styles dotted around an area. The building in the center has more than 100 floors and is over 300 meters tall. It is a landmark building in the entire Jiangnan area. That is the headquarters building of Fanghua Group. The helicopter carrying Lin Hai and his sister slowly landed on the helipad on the roof of Fanghua Group. Lin Fang took Lin Hai's arm, jumped off the helicopter, and trotted away from the helipad in the strong wind created by the propeller. At this time, a beautiful lady wearing a slim professional suit came to Lin Fang. Boss Lin, all the negative information about Pan's financial company has been collected. The necessary sniper funds and troops have also been assembled. With your order, I believe that within 24 hours, we will be able to easily take over Pan's financial company at the lowest price. Lin Fang's eyes gleamed, and she nodded gently. Very good, get started right away. Yes, Mr. Lin. Lin Hai was dumbfounded as he listened. I never thought that Sister Lin Fang is so decisive. Less than an hour had passed and they had already sharpened their knives, ready to slaughter Pan's financial company. By the way, Lin Hai, this is my assistant Qin Shui. Qin Shui, Lin Hai is my brother. The beautiful lady smiled sweetly and stretched out her white and tender little hand to Lin Hai. Hello, Mr. Lin. Lin Hai was flattered and held Qin Shui's soft and delicate hand. Hello. After the introduction, Lin Fang took Lin Hai and walked towards the elevator. She glanced at the assistant who was leading the way in front, and whispered softly in Lin Hai's ear. Har har, brother, how's my assistant? Isn't she hot? Lin Hai smelled the subtle fragrance of the two beauties, took a good look at Qin Shui's proud curves, and swallowed secretly with his throat moving. Sister, Miss Qin Shui's figure is really hot. But compared to you, I'm still a long way behind. Lin Fang pinched Lin Hai lightly. You stinky little brother, you only know how to make your sister happy. Lin Hai said sincerely, Sister, I am serious. In my eyes, no girl can compare to you. Lin Fangle smiled happily and gave Lin Hai a cute eye roll. You have good taste. The three of them took the elevator and arrived at the door of the chairman's office. At this time, Lin Fang's cell phone rang. After the call, Lin Fang looked at Lin Hai with an apologetic look on her face. Brother, there is an important client that needs to be entertained, so I have to go out for a while. Well, I'll let Qin Shui take you around the headquarters building. Is that okay with you? Lin Hai smiled slightly. Sister, go ahead and do your work, I'm fine. Seeing that her brother was so sensible, Lin Fang smiled with relief. She pulled Lin Hai aside and whispered. Brother, you just broke up and Qin Shui is single again, come on. It's not nice to say these things in front of the young lady, right? Lin Hai looked embarrassed and blushed at what Lin Fang said. Har har. Lin Fang left behind a string of silver bell-like laughter and hurriedly left the headquarters building of Fanghua Group. Mr. Lin, just tell me where you want to visit. Qin Shui looked at Lin Hai with respect. Looking at the beautiful and charming lady in front of him, Lin Hai coughed. Chapter 8 It's too sudden. Sister Qin, you are my sister's assistant. There is no need to be so distant. Call me Xiao Hai instead of Master Lin. I don't know where to visit, just show me around. Qin Shui breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that Lin Hai was so easygoing and easy to talk to. Well, come with me. Qin Shui led the way and took Lin Hai to visit various places in the headquarters of Fanghua Group. It is impossible to see all the hundreds of floors of a building. Qin Shui only took Lin Hai to those important places. Starting from Lin Fang's chairman's office, then the conference room, public lounge, gym, electronic library, financial investment department. Finally, the two came to the sky garden in the middle of the building, ordered 2 cups of coffee, and sat down to chat. Wow, Sister Qin, today is really an eye-opener. Lin Hai was completely shocked by the luxury of the Fanghua Group's headquarters building. Whether it is ordinary office supplies or the latest electronic equipment, Fanghua Group generally uses top-notch products. This shows how strong Fanghua Group's profitability is now. Qin Shui smiled sweetly. Boss Lin has always said that we should build Fanghua Group well and strive to hand over a company with a market value of over 1 trillion to my brother in the future. Lin Hai opened his eyes wide in astonishment, with a look of disbelief on his face. Sister works so hard, for me. Qin Shui said as if it was a matter of course, yes. Mr. Lin told me when he first started his business that he would lay a good foundation for you, and everything would be yours in the future. Xiao Hai, I believe that with just one word from you, President Lin will transfer the entire Fanghua Group to you without hesitation. Lin Hai was shocked and couldn't recover for a long time. Qin Shui is Lin Fang's personal assistant. She understands her sister's feelings best and will definitely not lie. Lin Hai never expected that his sister Lin Fang would be so kind to him. The market value of Fanghua Group is over 100 billion yuan, and Lin Fang will give it as soon as she says so. It seems that Lin Fang's previous words, my sister's things are yours, were not just polite remarks, but the sincere words from her heart. Xiao Hai, when the time comes, you will be my boss, so you must take good care of me. Qin Shui smiled playfully, her beautiful eyes filled with endless charm as she stared at Lin Hai. Har har, of course. When Lin Hai thought about the beautiful and sexy lady in front of him who might become his personal assistant in the future, he couldn't help but feel his lower abdomen and cheeks burning. Especially at this moment, Qin Shui, with her charming eyes, seemed to be flirting with Lin Hai, making him feel overwhelmed. It's really hard to resist having such a seductive beauty as an assistant. It's getting late, let me take you to the restaurant for dinner. Qin Shui looked at her watch, then stood up with Lin Hai and left the sky garden of the headquarters building. Along the way, the two talked and laughed. Qin Shui was moved by Lin Hai's approachability and sense of humor. She took the initiative to hold his arm and leaned her soft body against him. Lin Hai looked at the blushing, beautiful and charming Qin Shui, and was dazzled by her sudden intimacy. When the two were about to enter the luxurious restaurant on the first floor, an unhappy voice suddenly sounded from behind. Qin Shui, who is this man? Lin Hai turned around and saw a pretty boy wearing Versace men's clothing rushing towards him angrily. Oh no! Why is he here? Qin Shui turned her head and frowned slightly, and exclaimed in surprise. Sister Qin, who is that person? Lin Hai looked curious. Alas, the son of our company's big client has been pestering me every day. It's so annoying. The two of them whispered to each other, and the pretty boy in luxurious clothes had already come to them. Zhang Hua glared at Lin Hai with resentful eyes and became furious. Qin Shui, who is this boy? Qin Shui's eyes rolled around and she immediately had an idea in her mind. She stood on tiptoe and gave Lin Hai a hard kiss on the face. Tweet. The crisp sound of the kiss made Zhang Hua stunned and his eyes almost popped out. Lin Hai was stunned when he was suddenly kissed hard on the face by two plump red lips. He is my new boyfriend, his name is Lin Hai. Qin Shui smiled like a flower and looked at Lin Hai shyly with a blushing face. Oh my god! I just got a new sister. Now I have another girlfriend. Isn't this too exciting? Chapter 9. You should believe it now. Lin Hai's eyes lit up. After being kissed by the beautiful Queen Qin Shui, he felt lighter all over and was so happy that he didn't know what to do. Zhang Hua was breathing heavily and staring at Lin Hai viciously, wishing he could grind him to ashes on the spot. At this time, Qin Shui bit Lin Hai's ear and blew a breath of hot air into his ear. Xiao Hai, help me. Lin Hai immediately came to his senses and realized that Qin Shui wanted him to just go along with the situation and get rid of the annoying fly in front of her. When it comes to acting, Lin Hai is really experienced. When he was in college, he was the president of the school drama club. Lin Hai took the initiative to stretch out his hand and put his arm around Qin Shui's shoulders. He sighed in his heart at the wonderful touch and looked at Zhang Hua, whose face was ashen with anger, with a defiant look. Honey, who is this pretty boy? Upon hearing this, Zhang Hua was furious. You are the gigolo. I'm the young master of Huawei Group, with a net worth of over 10 billion. Zhang Hua introduced himself proudly, then took a good look at Lin Hai. Seeing that Lin Hai was wearing casual clothes from a fast-selling brand and had no accessories such as watches, necklaces, or rings, he immediately looked at Lin Hai with contempt. Look at yourself in the mirror. You are poor bastard, but you dare to date a beautiful woman like Qin Shui who has a good income. Bar. Lin Hai's father has always been strict with him. Although my family is fairly wealthy, we have never bought any luxury items. Seeing the other person looking at him with disdain, Lin Hai smiled slightly. So you're a loser. Although I don't have much money, all the clothes on my body were bought with my own money. If you don't rely on your family, can you afford to eat? Zhang Hua was left speechless by Lin Hai's retort. He looked at Qin Shui with an unhappy expression. Qin Shui, even if you don't like me, don't waste yourself on a poor guy like this. Look, he doesn't even have a decent piece of clothing, how can he support you? After saying that, Zhang Hua glanced at the luxurious restaurant in front of him. By the way, the Wagyu beef I ordered from Sakura Country has arrived. That's top quality Wagyu beef that costs tens of thousands per pound. Tell me, when you're with this guy, can he let you afford this kind of food? Qin Shui had a cold expression and said bluntly, excuse me, I'd rather eat steamed buns with my boyfriend than eat a steak worth tens of thousands with you. I've found my home now, please respect yourself and don't look for me anymore. She said this neither humbly nor arrogantly, and fully demonstrated her attitude of rejecting Zhang Hua. Lin Hai looked at Qin Shui with admiration. In this materialistic society, it is so rare to find such a beautiful girl who does not pursue fame, wealth and refuses the temptation of wealthy men. Zhang Hua's face turned pale and he glared at Lin Hai with anger in his eyes. Qin Shui, stop coaxing me. I've been watching you all the time, and I've never seen you with any boy. This kid looks younger than you, he must be a relative like your brother. Lin Hai touched his head awkwardly, feeling a little annoyed. It seems that my acting skills are not good enough and I failed to fool this person. He looked at Qin Shui anxiously, only to see that she nodded expressionlessly. Since you still don't give up, I can only prove it to you. Prove? What proof? Lin Hai was confused and had no idea what Qin Shui meant. The next moment, Qin Shui turned around abruptly and faced Lin Hai. She stared at Lin Hai with hot eyes, stretched out her hands without hesitation, hugged Lin Hai's neck, stood on tiptoes, and sealed Lin Hai's mouth with her plump red lips. "Oh my God!" This sudden scene made Lin Hai involuntarily exclaim. Lin Hai was dazzled, his breathing stagnated, and he felt dizzy and allowed Qin Shui to do whatever she wanted. He had been in a relationship with Chen Jie for several years, but he was always kept in suspense by that green tea girl, and at most they held hands. Who would have thought that Lin Hai and Qin Shui, who had only known each other for half a day, would actually? After being stunned for a while, Lin Hai realized that although Qin Shui's movements were bold, her skills were very immature. First kiss. Lin Hai gently hugged Qin Shui's slender waist and found that her body was shaking constantly and she seemed very nervous. Lin Hai's heart was moved. TSK, how much does Qin Shui hate this pretty boy Zhang Hua? In order to get rid of his entanglement, she would rather give her first kiss to herself whom she just met. After a moment, their lips parted. Qin Shui's eyes were blurred and she glanced at Lin Hai with an extremely shy look, then immediately looked away. Zhang Hua, now you should believe that Lin Hai is really my boyfriend, not a relative, right? Qin Shui looked at Zhang Hua, her beautiful eyes regained clarity, and her voice was extremely cold. But Lin Hai could still feel from his big hands around her slender waist that her whole body was trembling and she was still not calm. Zhang Hua's face was ashen at this time, and his eyes were red with stimulation from the erotic scene between Lin Hai and the other man. Boy, how dare you steal my woman? I'm going to kill you. Zhang Hua gritted his teeth, raised his fist, and rushed forward without hesitation. Seeing this, Qin Shui was shocked and hurriedly protected Lin Hai. What are you doing? Stop it. Zhang Hua's fist was about to hit Qin Shui in front of him. Lin Hai snorted coldly, put his arm around Qin Shui's slender waist, turned around, and kicked her sideways. Bang! The kick hit Zhang Hua right in the chest, and the eldest son of the Zhang family, who had already been drained of energy by alcohol and sex, was kicked straight out. Thump! Zhang Hua fell to the ground, holding his chest, screaming loudly, and couldn't get up for a long time. Qin Shui was still in shock and stared blankly at Lin Hai. Chapter 10, Random Transfer. Asshole, do you know who I am? If you dare to attack me, I will immediately find someone to break your arms and legs and make you sit in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Zhang Hua paused for a while before struggling to get up, cursing and pointing at Lin Hai. Oh, what a big tone. Lin Hai was furious. He let go of Qin Shui, stared at Zhang Hua who was shouting with cold eyes, and strode towards him. What is the eldest son of the Zhang family, the young master of Lin Group? Even if your family has some money, don't think of being so arrogant in front of me, Lin Hai. I'm not your mother, why should I spoil you? No, Lin Hai, stop it. Lin Hai took 2 steps forward aggressively, and was hugged tightly by Qin Shui from behind. A warm, soft and wonderful touch came from behind Lin Hai, causing him to pause. After being stunned for a while, Lin Hai pried open Qin Shui's hands that were clasped on his chest, turned around and smiled at Qin Shui. Sister Qin, don't worry, I'm just teaching him a lesson so he won't bother you every day. After saying that, Lin Hai moved his lips to Qin Shui's ear and blew a breath of hot air into it. After all, I'm your boyfriend. Lin Hai's warm whisper made Qin Shui's body tremble, and her face turned red instantly. Then, Lin Hai narrowed his eyes slightly and walked towards Zhang Hua again. Don't come over here. Zhang Hua sounded fierce, but in fact he was frightened by Lin Hai's kick just now. Seeing that Lin Hai was about to rush over to teach him a lesson, he rushed out with a whoosh. Lin Hai burst out laughing. He didn't expect this young man to be so timid and cowardly. Asshole, don't be so arrogant. I'll call someone to take care of you right away. If I don't torture you to death today, I'll take your last name. Zhang Hua rushed out more than 20 meters like a stupid spore, then turned around, stood far away, and shouted loudly at Lin Hai. Coward. Lin Hai shook his head with a look of disdain, and turned back to Qin Shui. Sister Qin, I've scared that guy away. Let's go in and eat. He looked as if nothing had happened, but Qin Shui looked at Zhang Hua in the distance and saw that he was talking on the phone in a proud manner, so she couldn't help but frown. Lin Hai, should we leave the restaurant and drive out to eat? Zhang Hua is the only son of the Zhang family. He knows a lot of hooligans. We shouldn't fight them head on. Lin Hai took out his cell phone, shook it at Qin Shui and smiled mysteriously. Sister Chin, if that guy dares to find someone to deal with me, I can also call for help. He immediately sent a message to the Special Forces captain who was in charge of security for Lin Fang, asking him to rush to the steak restaurant on the first floor of Fanghua Group's headquarters. Wow, Lin Hai, you actually have Captain Dongbao's WeChat ID. Lin Hai looked puzzled. Don't you have any? He is my sister's security captain, and you are my sister's personal assistant. You should be in contact often, right? Qin Shui shook her head and looked at Lin Hai in surprise. Dongbao is the commander of the domestic special forces. He was transferred here to ensure General Lin's safety. Normally, he is very arrogant. He doesn't talk to anyone except Mr. Lin. You are so lucky, you actually got his WeChat ID. Besides, send a message and he will come to protect you. Lin Hai laughed and said, it's all thanks to my sister. By the way, Sister Qin, why do the higher-ups pay so much attention to my sister? Qin Shui took Lin Hai's arm and led him into the steak restaurant. Let's talk as we walk. Dongbao will be here soon. In this way, Qin Shui won't have to be afraid no matter who Zhonghua asks to cause trouble. We have several companies in the Fanghua Group that have developed products that are at the international leading level and are the focus of attention from above. So, the higher-ups specially dispatched an active special operations team. In addition to protecting those supporting enterprises, they are also responsible for the safety of General Manager Lin. Oh my god! It turns out that my sister is so awesome, and there is a big boss backing her up. Thinking of those 5 helicopters and those dozens of fully armed special warfare elites, Lin Hai had a new understanding of his sister Lin Fang's power. With just one message, he can summon Dongbao, the active commander, to protect him. Won't it be possible for me to walk all over Jiangnan in the future? Lin Hai was fantasizing happily in his heart when suddenly a sarcastic voice came from behind him. Chapter 11 Sister, let's be extravagant for once. Some people are such bastards. You have the best Wagyu beef, but you insist on eating steamed buns with a poor guy. Boss, where is the Wagyu beef I ordered? Fry it and bring it to me right away. I'm going to make them die of greed. It turned out that Zhonghua was afraid of being beaten by Lin Hai and stayed away from him. After he finished the call, he instantly felt confident. He followed them into the restaurant carefully and sat at the door of the restaurant, a few meters away from Lin Hai and the other person. Seeing Lin Hai and his goddess Qin Shui sitting together intimately, holding the menus brought by the waiter, talking and laughing while discussing, he suddenly became furious. The woman I liked was snatched away by someone else. If it was any other famous young master in Jiangnan, it would be fine. But Lin Hai, a poor boy, dares to challenge me. It's outrageous. Hearing this, Lin Hai turned around and glanced at Zhonghua who was sitting at the door of the restaurant. The other person looked at Lin Hai with horror, his hands on the table, as if he would run away as soon as Lin Hai moved. Boring. Lin Hai shook his head and retracted his disdainful look. Sister Qin, since this restaurant ships the famous Wagyu beef from the Sakura country, let's try it. It's my treat. Qin Shui was startled. Seeing Lin Hai calling the waiter over, she hurriedly advised, Xiao Hai, don't fight with him. It's not worth it. Lin Hai smiled calmly, don't worry, I still have this little money. The waiter walked over quickly with a tablet for taking orders. Would you like to order food? Lin Hai nodded. You have some premium Wagyu beef just shipped from Sakura country, right? Please give me 2 steaks cooked medium rare, using Sakura Wagyu beef. Well, another bottle of 1990 Latu red wine. Sakura country Wagyu? 1990s Latu. The waiter hesitated. Sir, are you sure you want to order these? 2 steaks made from Sakura country Wagyu, plus this top quality red wine, the total cost is $150,000. A meal worth $150,000 is something that even the richest people wouldn't normally be so extravagant. Lin Hai was wearing all domestic fast-moving consumer goods brands. He had neither an expensive watch nor the keys to any luxury cars. No wonder the waiter was suspicious. This guy is obviously an ordinary person, where does he get the courage to order these expensive delicacies? If the bill can't be paid, the waiter will have to pay for the hundreds of thousands himself. Zhonghua, who was sitting at the door, heard the conversation between the two and pointed at Lin Hai and laughed. Boy, you dare to show off in front of me. One meal costs 150,000 yuan. Even if I sell you, you still can't afford it. Qin Shui, the man you found may not have money, but he is so shameless. It's really shameful. Zhang Hua's crazy laughter attracted the attention of many guests in the restaurant. They pointed at Lin Hai, whispered, and each of them had a sarcastic expression on their face. Where did this poor boy come from, daring to show off in this high-end Western restaurant? I think he wants to eat a free meal, right? That's right, otherwise how would a poor guy like him get the money to pay the bill? Facing the contempt and disdain of the crowd, Lin Hai smiled indifferently. He pulled out a black card from his wallet and handed it to the waiter, who was looking at him suspiciously. Since you doubt that I can't afford the bill, let's pay the bill first and then serve the food. The waiter took the black card and felt a chill in his heart. The top-level black card issued by North American Express Bank can overdraft $100 million. Oh my God! This waiter has been in this high-end Western restaurant for several years, and has only seen this top-notch black card once. The waiter looked at Lin Hai blankly, his eyes full of disbelief. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and take your card to the counter so that the kitchen can serve the food. Lin Hai frowned slightly and taught him a lesson softly. Yes, sir, please wait a moment. The waiter woke up as if from a dream, bowed respectfully to Lin Hai, and hurriedly took the black card to the cashier to swipe the card. Qin Shui looked at Lin Hai in shock and could hardly speak clearly. The black card you? Lin Hai chuckled. Oh, that card was given to me by my sister on the plane. She insisted that I accept it and told me to eat and drink well recently and not to treat myself badly. Qin Shui nodded, suddenly realizing, then looked at Lin Hai with a complicated expression. Boss Lin is so nice to you. Oh, if only I had a sister like this. Lin Hai chuckled. I didn't want to spend so much money, but I'm really happy to meet a beauty like Sister Qin today and get 2 sweet kisses from her. That's why I'm so willful and want to treat Sister Qin to something delicious. Hearing this, Qin Shui thought of the time when she took the initiative to give a kiss to Lin Hai, a girl she had just met, and her pretty face turned red with embarrassment. Hate it. Don't mention what happened just now again. That's fake. It's all to get rid of that annoying guy Zhang Hua. Qin Shui's cheeks flushed and she hit Lin Hai twice in shame. Okay, I won't say anything. Lin Hai was laughing and joking with Qin Shui, the beautiful queen. Zhang Hua, who was standing by, was so angry that his eyes were about to burst into tears. He felt depressed and his face turned ashen. At this moment, a scene that was even more heartbreaking appeared again. Chapter 12: Underestimating Strength. The waiter from before was seen, following the restaurant manager, and the two of them trotted all their way to Lin Hai. Sir, the payment has been completed, here is your card and statement. The manager with middle-parted hair handed over the black card with both hands and spoke to Lin Hai respectfully. Lin Hai nodded, put the black card away, and placed the statement on the dining table. I'm very sorry. I neglected to discipline my employees and let them offend you. The manager with the middle-parted hair glared at the waiter next to him, then led his men to bow 90 degrees to Lin Hai. In order to show their sincerity, the two men did not stand up for a long time, and kept bowing with difficulty. This astonishing scene caused many guests in the restaurant to talk about it. Oh my God, I didn't expect that guy actually had the money to pay for it. TSK, the life of rich people is really abnormal. With a top-notch black card in hand and cheap clothes on, they want to dine at a high-end Western restaurant. This is the real boss, low-key and luxurious, quietly slapping people in the face. Everyone praised Lin Hai loudly for his simplicity and low-keyness. At the same time, he would cast meaningful glances at Zhang Hua, who had been extremely high-profile before, and shook his head and sighed at him. How could Zhang Hua not understand what everyone meant? Damn it, it's obviously that kid Lin Hai who likes to show off. Why are you still looking down on me? Zhang Hua's eyes were red, his face was ashen, and he gnashed his teeth in hatred towards Lin Hai. How abominable. I only have 1 million in pocket money a month, but this kid actually has a black card that can overdraw hundreds of millions of dollars. Comparing yourself with others will really make you angry. What's even more hateful is that Lin Hai deliberately wore a set of cheap domestic brands, causing me to underestimate his strength. What a bastard. Now, in the eyes of everyone present, Zhang Hua has become the clown who is aggressive, constantly provocative, but is slapped in the face by others in a low-key manner. Zhang Hua glared at Lin Hai fiercely, his chest heaving with anger and breathing heavily. This scene caused many guests to whisper. Is this person dumbfounded now? Before, he was barking like a mad dog, but in the end, he was kicked away and ran away like a rat. You just acted like a jeer again, coming back to make sarcastic remarks, and now you've been completely fooled. Har har, you're so proud of yourself just because you can afford Wagyu beef, you must be out of your mind. That's right. He's so arrogant just because he has a little money. Compared with the simple and unpretentious person of that big boss, it's simply ridiculous. When Zhang Hua heard the vague discussions among the crowd, he was so angry that he clenched his teeth and his eyes were about to spit fire. Boy, just wait for me. When the helpers I find arrive, I'll make you pay. Lin Hai sent away the restaurant manager and the waiter, and was chatting with Qin Shui in a casual manner. Soon, 2 steaks made from premium Sakura Wagyu beef were brought up by the waiter. At the same time, the restaurant manager also sent many fine fruits and desserts to express his apology. Lin Hai picked up the red wine glass, took a sip, and smelled a rich and fragrant aroma coming towards him. It's really a good wine. He smiled heartily, raised his glass and said to Qin Shui, Sister Qin, let's have a drink to celebrate our first meeting. Qin Shui burst into laughter and gave Lin Hai a coquettish look. Naughty. Where does such a weird toast come from? Lin Hai laughed. Anyway, I feel very happy now. I am lucky to meet my sister today and meet a beauty like Sister Qin. I will do it first. Lin Hai raised his glass and drank it all in one gulp. Their wine has a rich and refreshing aroma, worthy of being the top quality 1990 La2. At the same time, the Wagyu beef ordered by Zhang Hua was served as a medium rare steak. He saw Qin Shui and Lin Hai talking and laughing happily. Their Wagyu beef, which was originally of first-class texture, crispy, tender and fragrant, tasted like chewing wax in Zhang Hua's mouth and had no flavor at all. Damn it, after chasing her for half a year, that woman Qin Shui was actually abducted by that boy. He even flirted with her openly in front of me. I was so pissed off. Just then, Zhang Hua's cell phone rang. After answering the phone, Zhang Hua looked at Lin Hai and Qin Shui fiercely. Damn, this adulterous couple. Especially that bitch Qin Shui. When she was with me, she looked very reserved. I sent her flowers and various gifts every day, but she refused them all and even wouldn't let me touch her hand. Now I'm with this boy, he's shameless and takes the initiative to kiss me, he's such a slut. Now the helpers I called are here. Watch how I torture you 2 dogs. Zhang Hua had a cold smile on his face and a ferocious look on his face. He snorted coldly, then stood up and left the high-end Western restaurant to pick someone up outside. After a while, Zhang Hua strode in with 6 strong and vigorous men. The 6 men were all tall and strong, with hard muscles, and they were obviously martial artists. With these people supporting him, Zhang Hua instantly became full of confidence and walked up to Lin Hai's desk with a swagger. Bang! Zhang Hua sneered and punched the table hard. There was a loud clattering sound, and the cutlery on the table jumped around, turning the tidy table into a mess. Boy, didn't you want to beat me up before? I'm giving you a chance now. If you have the guts, slap me in the face. I'll lend you a few courages, see if you dare. If you don't dare, you are a coward. Chapter 13 Satisfy your request. Lin Hai was stunned when he heard this, and looked at the muscular men standing next to Zhang Hua and laughed. Zhang Hua was certain that Lin Hai wouldn't dare to make a move, so he crossed his arms across his chest, looking smug. How about it, are you scared now? At this moment, the scene of Lin Hai kneeling down and kowtowing to him appeared in Zhang Hua's mind, and he felt extremely happy. Snort. With these masters backing me up, just wait and see how I'm going to beat you up. Lin Hai narrowed his eyes, slowly stood up, and stared at Zhang Hua with a smile. Since you insist so much and want me to beat you up in person, I will respectfully obey you. Zhang Hua thought he had misheard at first, but when he saw Lin Hai's serious expression, he suddenly laughed out of anger. Good boy, you shine brightly with a little sunshine. Come on, hit me in the face if you have the guts. I want to see you showing off in front of us guys. Why are you so arrogant? The muscular men around him also came over and stared at Lin Hai with murderous eyes. Boy, you should think it over carefully. That's right, there are some people you can't afford to offend. If you really want to do it, you will bear the consequences at your own risk. Those muscular men looked at Lin Hai coldly, not believing that he dared to be so arrogant under their noses. Seeing this, Qin Shui hurriedly stood up and pulled Lin Hai's arm. Xiao Hai, don't act rashly. Wait until Dongbao and the others arrive. Qin Shui stood in front of Lin Hai and glared at Zhang Hua fiercely, her eyes full of warning. Zhang Hua, don't go too far. I'm telling you, we've also called in people. If you dare to bully the minority with your numbers, you'll definitely be in big trouble. Dong Bao, who rushed over immediately, was the captain of the Special Operations Team and a senior instructor of the active Special Forces. Qin Shui believed that when Dong Bao arrived, he would be more than capable of dealing with these muscular men. Therefore, the most urgent task is to delay time and prevent Lin Hai from being impulsive. Zhang Hua sneered, "It's useless to call anyone to fight against these experts I found. Let me tell you, these guys are all warriors from the Supreme Martial Arts School. One of them can beat 10. With these 6 experts here, even if you call more people over, they will just die." After saying that, Zhang Hua looked at Lin Hai with a smug look on his face. "You are such a gigolo, you still need a woman to protect you. Bar. If you have the guts, come on. I'm putting my face here to see how capable you are." Zhang Hua patted his left cheek and stretched it in front of Lin Hai, his eyes full of mockery and contempt. In his opinion, the next moment, Lin Hai should kneel on the ground with a sad face and kowtow to him to apologize. Unexpectedly. Bang! Under the astonished gazes of Zhang Hua and several warriors, Lin Hai smiled slightly, and without hesitation, he attacked and slapped Zhang Hua hard. The crisp sound of applause resounded throughout the venue, leaving everyone stunned and dumbfounded. Thump! Zhang Hua was caught off guard and was blown away by Lin Hai's full-strength attack. He fell more than 3 meters away, his eyes wide open with a look of disbelief. "Since you insist so much, I will do as you wish. Although your request is a bit abnormal, I have a good temper and will try my best to satisfy you." Lin Hai looked down at Zhang Hua, whose mouth was bleeding, and his voice was full of mockery. The whole place was so quiet that you could almost hear a pin drop. Zhang Hua looked at Lin Hai in astonishment, his eyes wide open, bewildered and filled with confusion. "Who am I? Where am I? What just happened?" He was completely stunned by Lin Hai and it took him a long time to react and figure out what had happened. Qin Shui covered her mouth and looked at Lin Hai in disbelief. She didn't expect that Lin Hai would bypass her and actually slap Zhang Hua. Moreover, he used all his strength and blew the person away. It's over now. Dong Bao hasn't arrived yet, and Zhang Hua has 6 strong and muscular warriors. How can Lin Hai defeat them? If something happens to Lin Hai, how should I explain to General Lin? Qin Shui was extremely anxious and blamed herself. "It's all my fault. I knew Lin Hai was young and hot-tempered, so why didn't I hold him back? Now that Lin Hai has beaten someone up, he is bound to be in trouble next." The 6 warriors were stunned for a while, and each of them looked at Lin Hai in shock. Does this kid think his life is too long? In front of our brothers, he actually slapped the guy and sent him flying. This is simply outrageous. The onlookers who were watching the show also shook their heads and sighed. This young man is too impatient, he actually took action. Yeah, she was obviously speaking sarcastically and teasing him on purpose. That young man is in big trouble now. He might even lose his hands and feet today. Just as everyone was talking, the square-faced burly man who was leading the group pointed at Lin Hai and cursed. "Boy, you're looking for death." He raised his palm, used it as a knife, and slashed at Lin Hai's throat. If this palm strike had hit Lin Hai hard, his throat would have been broken, he would have been unable to breathe, and would have died on the spot. It can be seen that the square-faced burly man was really angry, which is why he used such a vicious move to punish the reckless Lin Hai. The feeling of suffocating to death is terrifying. When Qin Shui saw this frightening scene, her beautiful eyes widened and she screamed. No. Chapter 14, Not Enough. Many onlookers also cried out in surprise, and many timid ones even covered their eyes with their hands, unable to bear to see Lin Hai's miserable appearance. At this time, facing the fierce attack from the leading strong man, Lin Hai was not panicked at all, but instead showed a calm and composed smile. You know, although Lin Hai's father was materially sound, he was very strict with Lin Hai since he was a child. But when it comes to education, we never spare any effort. Since childhood, Lin Hai has been learning various kung fu from an old monk who came from Shaolin. After 20 years of hard study and practice, although Lin Hai cannot compete with the top masters, he is more than capable of dealing with some fancy martial artists. These warriors can be arrogant and show off their power in front of ordinary people. But in Lin Hai's eyes, it's not good enough at all. Under the horrified gaze of everyone, he stretched out 2 fingers and blocked his throat, just enough to easily and firmly clamp the opponent's palm that was coming towards him. Not enough strength, so. Lin Hai clicked his tongue twice and looked at the square-faced burly man with a joking expression. The other party's face changed and he suddenly exerted force to pull his hand back. Unexpectedly, Lin Hai's two fingers were like iron clamps, motionless, tightly clamping the square-faced, sturdy man's palm. Young man, you need to practice more, so as to avoid being half-baked and embarrassing yourself everywhere. Lin Hai shook his head and lectured the other person in a condescending manner. The square-faced, sturdy man was furious. When he was about to raise his foot to fight back, he found that Lin Hai's two fingers suddenly exerted force. Snap! It's as easy as using pliers to crush chicken bones. Lin Hai's two fingers crushed the square-faced, sturdy man's palm. Oh, it hurts so much. The square-faced, burly man screamed, his voice so shrill that it echoed throughout the entire restaurant. Qin Shui opened her mouth wide, staring at the square-faced, burly man in amazement, covering her bloody right palm, her face distorted in pain, and screaming heart-wrenchingly. Oh my God! Lin Hai is so young, how come he is so powerful? She looked at Lin Hai's proud figure, her eyes shining with excitement. With just two fingers, the strong man's big hand was broken. Shocking. It's really incredible. The onlookers around were also in disbelief. This young man looks thin, but I didn't expect he is so strong. Isn't it too scary that he can make someone fall down with just two fingers? Seeing this, Zhang Hua's pupils shrank and he hurriedly took a few steps back, staring at Lin Hai in horror. Brothers, this kid is a bit weird. Don't fight alone, come together and give him a good beating. The remaining 5 muscular men were furious when they saw the miserable state of the square-faced strong man. Hateful. This kid is so arrogant. He even dares to fight with people from our supreme martial arts school. We must kill him today. The 5 warriors looked at each other, immediately formed a battle formation, and attacked Lin Hai from different directions at the same time. Go to hell! A sturdy man with a square face deliberately went behind Lin Hai, pulled out the steel pipe hidden behind him, and hit him on the back of the head. If this hit really happened, Lin Hai might have a brain fracture and die on the spot. Hearing the sound of wind behind his head, Lin Hai immediately lowered his head and kicked out without hesitation. Bang! This fierce kick hit the man behind him in the lower abdomen, knocking him away and hitting the white wall a few meters away. He fell to the ground and spit out blood. This shocking scene caused the remaining 4 strong men who rushed forward with bare hands to break suddenly. Oh my God! There's something wrong with this kid. Such smooth kung fu and such fierce and swift counterattack, how can he not be like a pretty boy who can only talk nonsense? Without turning around at all, he just relied on his ears, as if he had eyes on the back of his head, to avoid the sneak attack from behind and kicked the man away. With such horrifying strength, if a few of us rush forward, it would be no different from committing suicide. Seeing that the 4 strong men looked hesitant and did not dare to rush over to attack, Lin Hai laughed. What? You don't surrender, and you don't fight. Do you want to kill me with your eyes? Come on together. Don't waste my time. I haven't finished my Western food yet, don't waste hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of good stuff. Hearing this, Qin Shui didn't know whether to laugh or cry. At this time, Lin Hai is still thinking about the delicious food and wine on the table. It's really funny. I saw a round-headed burly man looking at Lin Hai with a serious expression. Young man, you are very skilled. You have been practicing martial arts since childhood and have been trained by a famous teacher. Tell me your master. Maybe he is an old acquaintance of the director of our supreme martial arts school. Lin Hai sneered, you can't beat me, so you want to make friends with me and build a relationship with me. Har har, to tell you the truth, my master is unknown, just an ordinary monk. Okay, stop talking nonsense and let's see what's going on. After saying that, Lin Hai suddenly stepped forward and threw a punch directly at the round-headed burly man. The punch was so powerful that the round-headed burly man became furious. In a hurry, facing this powerful and fierce punch, he could only quickly raise his arms to block his chest. Bang! Lin Hai threw a punch, hitting the round-headed burly man's forearm that was blocking his chest. The opponent spat out a mouthful of blood, his forearm was broken, and he flew into the air and flew backwards. Snap! After the round-headed burly man fell to the ground, his face turned pale and he fainted. Oh my God, this is too scary. This boy is so strong. TSK, I think this punch of his might be able to kill a cow. The whole audience was shocked. After a brief silence of a few seconds, the whole audience was in an uproar, talking about Lin Hai and marveling at him. The remaining 3 warriors took a few steps back, trembling with fear. The 3 of them looked at each other, and at the same time ran towards the restaurant door, fleeing the scene in a hurry. TSK, I haven't even used my full strength yet, why are you guys scared away? Lin Hai looked unsatisfied. When everyone heard this, they all took a deep breath. Oh my god! You beat him up like this, and you still say you didn't use your full strength. This is too perverted. Looking at the three strong men lying on the ground, no one dared to conclude that Lin Hai was pretending to be cool. Maybe what he said was true and he really didn't use his full strength. At this time, Lin Hai glanced at Zhang Hua, who was standing a few meters away. I saw that the other person's eyes were blank, his expression was terrified, his teeth were chattering with fear, and his whole body was trembling. Har, now it's time for us to settle old scores. Lin Hai walked towards Zhang Hua, his eyes full of teasing. No. Don't come over here. Chapter 15, Domineering. Seeing Lin Hai walking towards him, Zhang Hua shuddered. He wanted to run away, but his whole body was limp and he couldn't take a single step. He could only look sad and scream in fear. Lin Hai, don't mess around. If you dare to touch me, our Zhang family will never forgive you. Lin Hai crossed his arms across his chest and looked at the coward in front of him with disdain. Boy, your Zhang family won't forgive me. Har, now, whether you can see the sun tomorrow or not, it's not up to your Zhang family to decide. Only I, Lin Hai, have the final say. When Zhang Hua heard this, he turned pale with fright and his legs trembled. You and me. Lin Hai came in front of Zhang Hua and looked down at him condescendingly. Of course, I can also not kill you, but cripple your limbs, leaving you lying in bed for the rest of your life, and becoming a cripple who can barely survive. Zhang Hua felt a chill in his heart, cold sweat broke out all over his body, and his eyes widened in horror. Lin Hai touched his chin and sneered, by the way, if your limbs are crippled, you can forget about keeping your life. I will crush you to pieces right here and then and make you a eunuch for the rest of your life. Zhang Hua felt that things were almost done and was about to stand up happily. At this time, Lin Hai's face darkened. Did I ask you to stand up? Zhang Hua's smile froze, and he forced himself to put on a smile that was uglier than crying. He knelt again and looked at Lin Hai pitifully. Mr. Lin, do you have any other instructions? Lin Hai smiled brightly. Didn't you say before that your Zhang family would not forgive me? If I become the ancestor of your Zhang family, you will not betray your teacher and ancestors in the future, right? Come on, be good, call me ancestor and let me hear it. When Zhang Hua heard this, he was stunned for a moment, his mouth opened wide, and his face was dull. Phew. Qin Shui giggled and patted Lin Hai in a reproachful manner. Xiao Hai, why are you so naughty? Obviously, she didn't approve of Lin Hai's antics. Lin Hai chuckled and whispered in Qin Shui's ear, Sister Qin, this person has been harassing you for so long, I am helping you to get revenge, don't be ungrateful. Qin Shui gave Lin Hai a cute eye roll, looking disbelieving. Humph. Who knows if you are a good person or not? I think you are the one who wants to play tricks on others. Seeing Lin Hai and the other man whispering, joking and playing in front of him, Zhang Hua felt extremely aggrieved and his eyes were filled with tears of grievance. Make yourself kneel down and call him ancestor. If I agree to it, it will be a great shame and humiliation. But if you don't agree... When Zhang Hua thought of the scene in which Lin Hai broke his limbs, turned him into a eunuch, and left him lying in bed waiting to die every day, he couldn't help but shudder all over and shivered. Well. When you live under someone's roof, you have to bow your head. Zhang Hua clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, closed his red eyes, and uttered two extremely aggrieved words, ancestor. Upon hearing this, the whole audience was in an uproar. No one expected that Zhang Hua would actually kneel in front of Lin Hai and call him ancestor. Lin Hai opened his eyes wide, looking shocked. Even he himself did not expect that Zhang Hua would be so obedient. He originally wanted to play a trick on the other party, bargain with Zhang Hua, and extort a large sum of compensation. Unexpectedly, the other party was such a coward that, under Lin Hai's threat, he openly called him ancestor in front of the gazes of the crowd. Lin Hai shook his head and laughed. I was just joking, why did you take it so seriously? TSK, our Lin family's ancestors were all wise and brave, how could they possibly want an unworthy descendant like you? Hearing this, Zhang Hua almost vomited blood on the spot. Joke? You're kidding me? Finished. Now I have become the laughingstock of the entire Jiangnan area. Today we have completely brought shame to the Zhang family. Zhang He felt like crying but had no tears, and hated Lin Hai in his heart. Sure enough, after hearing what Lin Hai said, the whole audience burst into laughter and pointed at Zhang He. Okay, I forgive you, just get up now. At Lin Hai's urging, Zhang He got up in a daze and walked towards the restaurant door like a walking corpse. Just then, a roar was heard at the restaurant door. Which bastard knocked out the disciple of my supreme martial arts school? Are you tired of living? Everyone turned around and saw a middle-aged man in a grey training suit appearing at the door. The man had sinister eyes and a huge hooked nose on his face, and looked extraordinary and heroic. Oh my god, it's Wang Shi, the owner of the Supreme Martial Arts School. I never thought that Wang Shi would come here in person to avenge his disciple. He is a legendary martial arts master with amazing kung fu skills. He has forced several martial arts schools in Jiangnan to close down. TSK, that young man is in trouble now. Everyone recognized the identity of the visitor and looked at Lin Hai with sympathy and gloating. Wang Shi is a very famous warrior. In everyone's opinion, Lin Hai is so young that he is definitely no match for Wang Shi, the martial arts master. However, Wang Shi has always been arrogant and protective of his own people. Anyone who offended the Supreme Martial Arts School was ruthlessly retaliated by him, and all suffered horrible consequences. Lin Hai heard the discussions of the people around him and looked closely. Wang Shi was about 50 years old, with black hair and a tall stature. At this moment, his whole body was filled with murderous intent, and his eyes were flashing with hostility. It was obvious that he was extremely angry. Behind Wang Shi, the three warriors who had escaped before glared at Lin Hai. Qin Shui was also frightened by Wang Shi's aggressive attitude. Xiao Hai, what should we do now? That man is a martial arts master, you definitely can't beat him. Lin Hai looked at the worried Qin Shui and patted her little hand. Don't worry, Sister Qin, Dong Bao and the others will be here soon. Even if I can't beat him, I can still deal with him and delay the time. Hearing this, Qin Shui felt a little relieved. Fortunately, Dong Bao can arrive at the scene at any time. As long as Lin Hai doesn't do anything reckless, there shouldn't be any big problems. Lin Hai narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at the angry Wang Shi, and smiled. Lin Hai was still very confident in himself. Even if he couldn't beat Wang Shi in front of him, he could still hold on for a while and barely save his life. Therefore, even though everyone feared Wang Shi like a tiger and revered him like a god, in Lin Hai's eyes, he was just that. I was the one who knocked out those disciples of yours. Lin Hai walked straight up to Wang Shi and responded calmly. Is it you? Wang Shi looked at Lin Hai in surprise for a while, and seeing that he was very young, like a student who had just graduated, he couldn't help but show disdain. Damn it, I thought it was some old guy who did it. I didn't expect that he was such an ignorant brat. Wang Shi crossed his arms and looked at Lin Hai with disdain. Boy, haven't you heard of our Supreme Martial Arts School? How dare you attack my disciple? Are you itching for trouble? Lin Hai tilted his head and looked at Wang Shi with an innocent look on his face. Excuse me, is the Supreme Martial Arts School very famous? I've never heard of it. Hearing this, Wang Shi's eyes bulged and his expression became dull. Wang Shi looked incredulous, as if he couldn't believe that Lin Hai dared to speak to him like that. Presumptuous. You dare to smile at my master, are you tired of living? A bold strong man behind Wang Shi became furious and pointed at Lin Hai and shouted at him. Seeing this, Lin Hai spread his hands, looking helpless. But I haven't heard of it, have I? Your martial arts school isn't famous enough, so why are you blaming me? You. The bold man was furious and was about to curse loudly, but was interrupted by Wang Shi's wave of his hand. Boy, I don't have time to talk with you. Wang Shi looked cold and serious. You dare to knock out my disciple Wang Shi, I only have two requests. First, take out 10 million as medical compensation for my 3 disciples. Second, have a formal contest with me. Life or death will matter in the ring. I want to see how strong you are. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Hearing this, everyone's faces changed and they took a breath of cold air at the same time. Chapter 16 I have a slight fever. Everyone in the audience looked at Lin Hai with pity and sympathy at the same time. Now, Wang Shi, the martial arts master, got furious and wanted to teach Lin Hai a lesson personally. In everyone's opinion, Lin Hai was doomed. Unexpectedly, Lin Hai actually showed a comfortable smile at this time, as if he didn't take Wang Shi seriously at all. Wang Shi was stunned when he saw this. What the hell? This kid, why doesn't he kneel down and beg for mercy now? He even dares to smile at me. At this critical moment of life and death, he still dared to smile at me. Is he out of his mind? At this time, Lin Hai smiled and responded to Wang Shi, I don't have 10 million to give you. But my sister has a lot of money. If you have the guts, ask my sister for money. 100 million is not a problem. Wang Shi raised his head and laughed, very good. In the whole of Jiangnan, there is no one that the Supreme Martial Arts School cannot afford to offend. Tell me quickly, where is your sister? I'll ask her for money right away. Lin Hai laughed and pointed to the entrance of the restaurant, far away in the horizon, close behind you. A steady voice suddenly sounded at the entrance of the Western restaurant. You are just a Supreme Martial Arts School, but you are so arrogant. When Wang Shi heard this, he immediately became angry. Which bastard dares to be behind this? As soon as he turned around and saw the other person's face clearly, he was shocked and his face turned pale. Brother Dong Bao, why is it you? Dong Bao was standing at the door of the restaurant, looking at Wang Shi coldly with a stern look on his face. Behind him, Lin Fang crossed her arms and looked at Wang Shi with an unhappy look on her face. I just left for a while and someone dared to bully my brother. Damn it. Dong Bao looked at Wang Shi, whose face was full of flattery and fawning, and snorted coldly. He was too lazy to pay attention to Wang Shi, so he walked around him and came to Lin Hai. Mr. Lin, are you not hurt? Boss Lin just finished a social event. We rushed to get here, but we're still a little late. Sorry. Dong Bao apologized to Lin Hai sincerely. Har, brother Bao, you are too polite. You are not late. You came just in time. Seeing his sister Lin Fang and Dong Bao arriving at the scene, Lin Hai felt relieved and completely at ease. When Wang Shi saw Dong Bao apologizing to Lin Hai, he was horrified and opened his mouth in shock, unable to close it for a long time. If we talk about the person in the whole Jiangnan who can scare Wang Shi to tremble, Dong Bao is definitely at the top. Because Dong Bao's strength has reached a certain level, which is one level higher than Wang Shi, and he has learned killing skills, so his strength can completely crush Wang Shi. What's more, Dong Bao came from the special forces and participated in countless actual battles, so his actual combat capability is even more amazing. In front of Dong Bao, Wang Shi dared not act rashly and could only bow his head in submission. Wang Shi looked at Dong Bao, who suddenly appeared, and was suddenly shocked when he thought of what Lin Hai had said before. This Dong Bao is now the personal bodyguard of Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan, and he has been closely protecting Lin Fang. Now that he appears here, doesn't it mean? Wang Shi widened his eyes and looked towards the restaurant entrance in horror, and sure enough, he saw Lin Fang's beautiful figure. Oh my god! The sister that boy was talking about turned out to be Lin Fang, the richest person in Jiangnan. Wang Shi had a sad face and was completely frightened by Lin Hai's background. The onlookers were all surprised to see that Wang Shi, who had been so arrogant before, suddenly became as panic-stricken as a dog that had lost its home. Wow, that boy is so amazing. Just calling someone over here will shock Wang Shi. TSK, even the rumored arrogant Dong Bao has to respectfully call him young Master Lin. I think he must be the heir of some big family. Hearing the whispers of the crowd, Lin Hai shook his head and laughed. What heir to a big family? I just suddenly have a good sister. Lin Hai patted Dong Bao on the shoulder, took Qin Shui's arm, and walked towards Lin Fang outside the restaurant. Brother Bao, I'll leave this place to you. We'll leave first. Okay, Mr. Lin, you go first. I'll take care of these blind people. Dong Bao nodded and respectfully saw Lin Hai and the other man off. Seeing that Lin Hai was about to leave, when she stood there trembling, looking at Dong Bao pitifully, not daring to say a word. Wang Shi, you dare to blackmail Lin Xiao and even teach him a lesson yourself. You are so bold. Do you know who Lin Xiao is? He is the younger brother of my boss, Lin Fang, the chairman of Fanghua Group. You dare to touch my boss's brother. As the owner of the Supreme Martial Arts School, you are doomed to a miserable end. I tell you, from now on, there will be no such place as the Supreme Martial Arts School in Jiangnan. Behind Lin Hai, Dong Bao's cold rebuke came. Thump. After hearing what Dong Bao said, Wang Shi was immediately frightened. Lin Fang from Fanghua Group. This name is invincible in the whole Jiangnan region. If you provoke Lin Fang's brother, wouldn't that be seeking death? Wang Shi hurriedly knelt on the ground and kowtowed towards the restaurant entrance to apologize. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the real master, please forgive me. I will immediately compensate you with 10 million for medical expenses and mental damages. Please show some mercy and let our supreme martial arts school live. Lin Hai waved his hands, too lazy to pay attention to the other party, and signaled Dongbao to handle it. Soon, the sound of Dongbao's fists and feet could be heard behind him, beating Wenxi and others so hard that they cried like wolves and ghosts. It seems that not only will Wenxi not be able to escape physical pain, but he will also have to pay the promised 10 million yuan in compensation. Brother, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? When Lin Fang saw Lin Hai coming out, she walked up to him nervously and searched him carefully. Seeing that Lin Fang cared about him so much, Lin Hai felt a warm feeling in his heart. Sister, I'm fine, absolutely fine. Qin Shui also laughed and said, Boss Lin, Xiao Hai is really amazing. He beat down 3 strong men by himself. We are all fine. Lin Fang glanced at Qin Shui in surprise, with a hint of teasing flashing in her beautiful eyes. Oh, you were so polite before and called me brother Lin Xiao, but now you are so intimate and call me Xiao Hai. TSK, you guys are developing really fast. Oh, Mr. Lin, how could I have that? Qin Shui's pretty face turned red and she stomped her feet in dissatisfaction. Lin Hai, on the other hand, had a calm expression on his face. Sister Qin and I hit it off right away. Calling her young master Lin is really too formal. I asked her to call me Xiao Hai. Seeing this, Lin Fang giggled, took Lin Hai's arm, and quietly bit his ear. You're really quick. The two walked towards the elevator together, and Qin Shui followed behind with a red face and a shy look on her face. By the way, brother, I have taken over Pan's financial company. Go upstairs with your sister later and sign your name. That small company with a market value of several hundred million will be yours. Lin Fang pinched Lin Hai's face and said lovingly. Hearing this, Lin Hai was very excited. A company with a market value of hundreds of millions. Although Lin Fang spoke lightly, it seemed as if this company was not worth mentioning at all. But in Lin Hai's eyes, it was a huge fortune. It's so easy to get a big company. It feels so good to have a domineering sister. Sister, thank you for being so nice to me. Lin Hai's eyes were slightly red, and he hugged Lin Fang tightly, catching her off guard. He was deeply moved at this moment, and his true feelings emerged, and he naturally hugged Lin Fang in his arms. But they don't know how much impact such an intimate action will bring to the other party. Before, Lin Hai had just fought with several warriors under Wenxi. At this moment, his aura was surging, and he exuded a strong masculine spirit. Such a young body full of vigor and vitality has a fatal attraction to Lin Fang, a 30-year-old mature lady. At this moment, Lin Fang's cheeks were flushed, her eyes were charming, and there was a hint of shyness in her eyes. In the past few years, she has been busy with her career and has no time to care about her feelings. This is the first time she has experienced such a heart-pounding sweet feeling. She never dreamed that the person who gave her this feeling for the first time was her adopted brother whom she had never met before. Chapter 17 I Dare Not Even Dream. After letting go of his sister, Lin Hai was surprised to see Lin Fang's pretty face flushed and her eyes moist. Sister, are you okay? He reached out and touched Lin Fang's forehead, and found that it was slightly hot, and he couldn't help but look surprised. I don't have a fever, so why did my sister's face suddenly become so red? This scene stunned all the youth group employees passing by, and a storm of shock rose in their hearts. Oh my god! What the hell is this? Ms. Lin is a famous ice beauty. No matter who it is, Ms. Lin is always serious and no one dares to act rashly in front of her. This young man actually hugged General Lin affectionately in public and openly touched her face. This is too incredible. Qin Shui also opened her mouth wide and looked at Lin Fang in disbelief. Ms. Lin, who is usually as cold as ice, now has a shy look on her face. In front of the little boy Lin Hai, she is like a timid young wife, acting like a real daughter. It's really jaw-dropping. Soon, Lin Fang discovered something unusual around her. She rolled her eyes at Lin Hai coquettishly. Stinky brother, we are in the company, don't lose your composure and affect your dignity as the female president. After saying that, Lin Fang coughed, and her expression returned to its usual dignity and majesty. Are you guys free? What are you looking for? Upon hearing this, many employees of the youth group hurriedly looked away and left the scene in a hurry. Oh my god! If General Lin spots me, I'll be in big trouble. Lin Hai touched the back of his head stupidly, looking apologetic. I'm sorry, sister, I was too excited. Phew. Seeing Lin Hai's honest look, Lin Fang covered her mouth and smiled sweetly. It's okay, just pay attention to the occasion next time. By the way, this reunion between us is a big deal. Your third sister has wanted to meet you for a long time, but she never had the chance. I will take you to meet her now. I think she will be very happy to see you. As Lin Fang spoke, she took the initiative to hold Lin Hai's hand and walked towards the underground parking lot. Black stockings, high heels and a beautiful figure, it is definitely a beautiful scenery. Lin Hai felt dizzy all over. Third sister. Lin Hai recalled the address book that Butler Wang had given him. The third sister, Lin Yi, is a famous film queen who has been famous for many years and is also the screen goddess that Lin Hai has been obsessed with for many years. She has a stunning appearance, and her every smile, frown, anger and smile are extremely captivating. Of course, Lin Yi's acting skills are beyond reproach. Whether she is an ancient heroine, a rich family's daughter, a working girl, or a capable policewoman, she can perform them vividly and naturally, which is amazing. Lin Hai thought of the classic roles that Lin Yi had played and was very excited about meeting the goddess of his heart soon. The legendary ever-changing movie queen, Lin Yi, who has been the dream of countless men. It turned out to be my third sister. This is such an unattainable existence. Before, I would not even dare to think about it. What good things did my father do in his previous life that he adopted so many fairy sisters? Thinking of this, Lin Hai felt like his heart was about to jump out. Chapter 18 I'm here to scare you. When the two were about to get into the car, Dongbao caught up with them from behind. He trotted to the car and took the initiative to open the trunk door for the two of them. It seems that those pieces of trash have been dealt with by Dongbao. I have to admire Dongbao's efficiency. After Lin Fang and the other person got into the car, Dongbao immediately went around to the driver's seat, got in and started the black Rolls-Royce Phantom. Lin Hai sat on the leather seat, looking at the luxurious decoration in the car, glancing at the stunning Lin Fang beside him, and the beautiful Qin Shui sitting opposite him, feeling that everything was so incredible. Being picked up by luxury cars, accompanied by beautiful women, and having a master like Dongbao serving him at his side, what a wonderful life this is. Half an hour later, a Rolls-Royce Phantom drove into the parking lot of the Marriott Hotel. Lin Fang took Lin Hai's hand, and Lin Hai felt like he was touching a piece of mutton fat jade, so soft and boneless. The two went to the 5th floor together and walked into a presidential suite. In the presidential suite, many staff members were busy. Makeup artists, photographers, life assistants, etc. were each organizing the tools in their hands, as if preparing for some event. The door to the master bedroom was closed, with a sign saying "Lounge" on it. It looks like Lin Hai's third sister, film queen Lin Yi, is taking a rest inside. Lin Fang took the initiative to bring Lin Hai to the door of the lounge and said to her agent Sister Hong, who was guarding the door, "Sister Hong, is my sister Lin Yi in there?" When Sister Hong saw Lin Fang, a flattering and respectful smile appeared on her face. "Boss Lin, Lin Yi is memoizing his lines in there." After saying that, she took the initiative to open the door of the lounge and gestured to Lin Fang to come in. Lin Fang smiled sweetly, let go of Lin Hai's big hand, and gently pushed him. "Brother, go in and meet the third sister first. I'll chat with Sister Hong for a while." Lin Hai nodded and walked into the master bedroom with a nervous look on his face. There was soft light inside. The dressing table was filled with bottles and jars. The hanging hangers next to it were filled with all kinds of luxurious dresses. On the ground were sparkling high-heeled shoes of various shapes. Is this the movie Queen's lounge? Lin Hai was amazed and looked around, but he couldn't find his third sister Lin Yi. At this moment, Lin Hai's waist was suddenly pressed against by a hard object. Click. "Don't move. Otherwise, I'll shoot." A cold female voice suddenly sounded behind Lin Hai, making his hair stand on end and his scalp tingle. "Oh my God. What is going on? Don't shoot if I don't move." Lin Hai raised his hands fearfully, his voice trembled a little, and sweat immediately broke out on his forehead. From the corner of his eye, he noticed that there was a girl with a delicate body standing behind him. She exuded a rich fragrance that was extremely seductive. However, the other party's voice was extremely cold. "Who are you? Why did you suddenly break into my room?" Lin Hai was speechless and didn't know how to introduce himself. "I, you, we." Lin Hai felt a pain in his waist and was poked hard by the gun in the other party's hand. "Tell me quickly, or I'll shoot you immediately." The person behind him shouted, his stern tone full of murderous intent. Lin Hai's heart sank, and he said in a panic, "My name is Lin Hai, I'm 25 years old, and my ID number is." Har har har. Before he could finish, his waist loosened and a soft body suddenly threw itself on his broad back. A silver bell-like laugh, as if a prank had been accomplished, rang in his ears. My stupid brother was deceived by his sister and even gave out his ID number. Lin Yi came in front of Lin Hai, put her hands on his shoulders, and snuggled into Lin Hai's arms, with a look of great joy on her face. She didn't care at all how ambiguous their posture was at the moment. Lin Hai looked at the beauty in front of him and saw her unbridled smile, which did not detract from the exquisiteness of her facial features at all. Even when she's laughing, she still looks so captivating and stunningly beautiful. As expected, she is worthy of being the queen of the screen who has dominated the big screen for many years. Her beauty is top-notch from all angles and is truly breathtaking. Lin Yi giggled, and seeing Lin Hai looking at her in a daze, she stretched out her delicate hand and pinched his tall nose affectionately. "How's it? My sister's acting is pretty good, isn't it? Did it scare you enough?" Lin Hai recalled Lin Yi's cold tone, which sounded like a female killer, and nodded awkwardly with lingering fear. Third sister's acting skills are really amazing. She completely fooled me. Lin Yi proudly raised the prop gun in her hand and said with a smile, "I heard from my elder sister that you guys were coming over soon, so I hid behind the door on purpose to scare you." She threw the prop gun aside, took Lin Hai's big hand affectionately, and sat on the sofa together. "Xiao Hai, let sister take a good look. Wow, you're so handsome. With your looks, you can easily enter the entertainment industry and act in movies." Lin Yi held Lin Hai's face in her hands, opened her beautiful eyes wide, looked left and right, and examined him carefully. The enchanting beauty worthy of a movie queen is right before your eyes. When the two of them could hear each other's breath, Lin Hai felt that the other person's breath was as fragrant as orchid, and his body was filled with fragrance, which made his head buzz and his cheeks felt hot as if burning. "Hey, Xiao Hai, why are you hiding? You're my brother, and you're still shy with your sister. Hey, come on, sister will give you a kiss, then you won't be shy anymore." Chirp. Before Lin Hai could react, his third sister Lin Yi held his face with a smile and kissed him heavily on the forehead. Lin Hai was confused. I never thought that the third sister, the film queen who is said to be aloof and extremely low-key, is actually so passionate and naughty in private. "Har har, Xiao Hai, you are so good and so cute." Lin Yi looked at the red lipstick mark on Lin Hai's forehead and laughed out loud at his confused look. "Third sister, you just bully me as soon as we meet." Lin Hai pouted in grievance and muttered softly. "Oh, third sister hasn't seen you in all these years. Today is the first time we meet. I'm a little excited. I have a younger brother now, that's great. Besides, this little brother is so handsome, so well-behaved and fun. I am so happy." Lin Yi rubbed Lin Hai's head with a happy look on her face. Lin Hai tidied up his messy hair, looking helpless. She is indeed a versatile actress. He is cold and arrogant in front of the public, but so approachable and lively in front of his closest relatives. No wonder he can play so many classic roles. By the way, little brother, from now on, you should follow your sister and play in the entertainment industry together. When the time comes, I will protect you and make sure you will be well off in the entertainment industry, with beautiful women waiting for you every day. Lin Yi put her hands on her hips, looking like a gangster boss. This elder sister gave me a company so that I could learn business. Lin Hai looked hesitant. TSK. Business is not as fun as the entertainment industry. Do you want to look at financial statements every day and drink with a group of middle-aged and elderly people every day? Lin Yi waved his hand with disdain. But, I have already promised my elder sister. Lin Hai hesitated for a while, but still said honestly. Hearing this, Lin Yi's face changed. She changed from a big sister who had the final say to a little maid who pleaded with soft words. Xiao Hai. My third sister is alone in the entertainment industry. I don't know how lonely she must be. It's so sad to talk about it. Hearing this, Lin Hai looked Spartan. Third sister, isn't it? Aren't those many staff members outside accompanying you every day and serving you alone? Lin Yi's face froze, then her eyes rolled and she said pitifully, those are outsiders, they are not as caring as us siblings. As long as you follow me into the entertainment industry, I will invest in your filming and play a supporting role for you. By then, my sister and I will be inseparable on the set and take care of each other. Also, I know a lot of beautiful women in the entertainment industry. If you like any of them, I will immediately introduce you to that beautiful woman. Hearing this, Lin Hai's eyes lit up. Chapter 19. It's not good to have a scandal. Damn it. If you follow the third sister, you can immediately get close to half of the entertainment industry. Thinking of all those beautiful ladies in the entertainment industry, each with their own unique style, Lin Hai swallowed quietly. How about it? If you hang out with the third sister, you will soon become famous all over the country, become the idol of thousands of girls, and get to meet all kinds of beauties. Xiao Hai, please think about it carefully. Lin Yi stared at Lin Hai with burning eyes and said seductively. At this time, Lin Fang and Sister Hong finished their discussion and strode into the lounge. Brother, don't be fooled. Even if we are in the same crew, Lin Yi is a drama fanatic. She has no time to pay attention to you. Besides, she often has to go out to take advertising endorsements and various commercial performances, so she doesn't have time to make connections for you. Lin Fang ignored the angry look from her third sister and took the initiative to sit on the other side of Lin Hai, holding his hand with a serious look on her face. Being an artist is not a long-term solution. It's not as comfortable as being your own boss. That financial company with a market value of hundreds of millions is now yours. As long as you post a job announcement, beautiful women with high education levels from all over the country will rush to come for an interview. Brother, you better think carefully and don't be fooled by this drama queen Lin Yi. Here, the third sister Lin Yi was furious at what the eldest sister Lin Fang said. Not willing to be outdone, she hugged Lin Hai's arm and argued loudly with Lin Fang, the cold and beautiful female CEO, through her brother. Lin Hai was torn as he was being fought over by two charming and beautiful ladies at the same time. Well, is it better to start my own company or to try my luck in the entertainment industry? So annoying. Lin Hai frowned, stared blankly for a while, and suddenly his eyes lit up. By the way, why do you have to choose one of the two? Can't you just do both at the same time? Two sisters, calm down, I have a solution. Lin Hai held the hands of his eldest sister Lin Fang and third sister Lin Yi respectively, and persuaded them with a smile. Hurry up, Xiao Hai, between me and my elder sister, who do you choose? Lin Yi pouted her little mouth and glared at her elder sister Lin Fang coquettishly. That's right, brother. I also want to know which sister you like more. Lin Fang had a look of retaliation on her face. She subconsciously straightened her full chest and stared at Lin Hai with her beautiful eyes. Eldest sister, third sister, we are all family, please don't let our relationship be damaged because of me. Lin Hai gritted his teeth and said, I want to open an entertainment company in the local area that focuses on the entertainment industry. This way, I can follow my eldest sister in the business world, and help my third sister with her acting career. Wonderful. Hearing this, the two sisters Lin Fang and Lin Yi applauded at the same time. Lin Fang looked at Lin Hai with admiration. Brother, your idea is good. As for this entertainment company, the funding issues will be handled by my eldest sister. Your third sister will be in charge of human resources. In this way, everyone is satisfied and everyone is happy. Lin Yi nodded, obviously agreeing. Brother, if you want to open an entertainment company, you have to learn more about this industry. How about this? I have an important commercial performance in Jiangnan tomorrow, you follow me then, and I will help you get familiar with the work. Lin Hai quickly agreed, okay. At this time, Lin Fang stood up and said, okay, now that we have finished discussing the work, let's go home and have dinner together. She took the initiative to pull Lin Hai up from the sofa and helped him tidy up his clothes. Lin Yi also stood up and reached out to help Lin Hai fix his hair. Lin Hai looked at his two sisters with gentle expressions and focused demeanor, and felt extremely happy. Third sister is right, my brother is very handsome and can indeed make it into the entertainment industry. Lin Fang looked at Lin Hai's handsome face with admiration. Sister, I've been in the entertainment industry for so long, I still have some vision. Lin Yi happily took Lin Hai's arm, looking proud. Okay, let's go back. Lin Fang held Lin Hai's other arm, and Lin Yi, one on each side, accompanied him out of the lounge. Lin Fang is a nationally renowned cold and beautiful female CEO, a queen of the royal sister type. Lin Yi, the famous and versatile film queen, is the dream lover in the hearts of countless people. Being sandwiched between these two queens, Lin Hai felt an indescribable sense of pride. Lin Yi, let go. Sister Hong, the agent standing at the door, was shocked to see Lin Yi and Lin Hai holding hands intimately. If this scene is captured by paparazzi or passers-by and posted online, causing a nationwide scandal, your image will be ruined. Lin Yi waved her hands and laughed. Sister Hong, it's not that serious. Lin Hai is my brother. What's wrong with me being a little intimate with my brother? Sister Hong was so anxious that she jumped up and down. Oh, my little ancestor. We know you are siblings, but ordinary passers-by and your fans don't know that. If a photo like this is seen by others, who knows what will happen to it? You don't want to see such messy headlines as the ever-changing movie queen secretly meeting a young hunk, do you? Lin Yi pouted, looking helpless. Okay then, when we leave the hotel, I will stay away from my brother. Har har. Eldest sister Lin Fang was smiling with great pride. Brother, did you see that? First-tier artists look glamorous, but there are many restrictions. We can't live as freely as we run our own companies. Your third sister's current persona is that of a pure and innocent girl who focuses on movies. She can't even hold her brother's hand. TSK, how pitiful. Lin Yi immediately retorted, no way. Xiao Hai, you're not famous right now, and my agent doesn't want any scandals between you and me. If you become a high-quality popular idol, there will be no harm in spreading the ambiguous photos between us online. On the contrary, it will increase our popularity. Lin Hai suddenly realized, I understand this. It's just the artists hyping up their romance. Lin Yi smiled brightly, that's right. When you become a top male star, it won't matter if you have scandals with many female stars. Maybe you can even make it real. After saying that, Lin Yi made a face at her elder sister Lin Fang with a proud look on her face. The three siblings chatted and laughed as they took the elevator to the underground parking lot. Lin Yi's agent, Sister Hong, followed closely behind, scanning the surroundings alertly from time to protect Lin Yi's safety. Lin Hai looked at him carefully and found that the other party had light steps and long breathing. He was obviously a martial artist. Business world, your agent Sister Hong seems to know Kung Fu, is she also a master? Lin Yi smiled proudly, that's right. Sister Hong comes from a martial arts family. She has been practicing martial arts since she was a child. Her Kung Fu is amazing. Many of these people had evil intentions towards me, but they were all dealt with by Sister Hong. It can be said that without Sister Hong, my sister wouldn't be where she is today. Lin Hai was amazed and had a little more respect for Sister Hong. Soon, the three of them got into a Rolls-Royce Phantom, with Dongbao still serving as the driver. A black SUV led the way, followed by two Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicles. The convoy quickly left the Marriott Hotel and headed towards the suburbs. At this time, a burly man with a sinister look took out his cell phone and dialed a number. Chapter 20. Countless eyes watching. Brother Hu, Lin Fang and that kid are inseparable, we can't find a chance to take action. A domineering voice sounded from the other side, be patient with me, and follow that kid closely for a while. I just don't believe that there will never be a chance. This person was none other than Brother Hu lent someone to Pension. Last time, with the help of his elder sister Lin Fang, Lin Hai taught his dozens of subordinates a lesson. Having suffered such a great loss, Brother Hu has been holding a grudge and wants to take revenge on Lin Hai. Got it, Brother Hu. The sturdy man hesitated, what should we do if Lin Fang stays with him all the time? Brother Hu snorted coldly, don't worry, I have plenty of ways to deal with Lin Fang. As for you, just keep an eye on that bastard Lin Hai. I'll give you 3 days. If you can't do it, get out of here and I'll do it myself. At this time, Lin Hai arrived at the Taohulan community in the suburbs in a Rolls-Royce. Seeing this plaque, Lin Hai was shocked. The eldest sister is indeed worthy of being the richest person in Jiangnan. She actually lives in the famous Peach Blossom Forest. This residential complex is one of the top 10 luxury residential complexes in the country. Every household inside is a luxurious manor covering thousands of acres. There are European-style villas covering several hundred square meters, swimming pools, racecourses, sports centers, etc. Peach Blossom Forest can be described as the dream estate of the top wealthy people. Lin Hai's father worked very hard during his lifetime just to exchange the family villa for a luxurious manor in Taohulan. Unexpectedly, Lin Hai fulfilled his father's wish because of his elder sister Lin Fang. Hey, brother, I bought this manor originally as a wedding gift for you. Unfortunately, my father passed away so suddenly that I didn't get to see this. Otherwise, he would be very happy. Eldest sister Lin Fang also thought of her father and said to Lin Hai with a little sadness. Sister, Father in heaven would definitely be very pleased to see us living in this manner together. Lin Yi leaned on Lin Hai's shoulder and comforted her elder sister softly. Hearing this, Lin Hai nodded and gently patted his elder sister's hand. The luxurious manor purchased by Lin Fang is located in the best position in the peach blossom forest. It is high above the ground and has a panoramic view of the rest of the manors. Moreover, the area of this manor is the largest, and the selling price starts at 1 billion. Accompanied by his two sisters, Lin Hai took an hour to tour the entire manor. Wow, isn't this area too big? Luxurious restaurant, spacious living room, private cinema, swimming pool of hundreds of square meters, underground winery. Is this luxurious manor really a gift from my elder sister to me? In the evening, after having dinner with his two sisters, Lin Hai was pushed by his eldest sister to the master bedroom of the entire manor. After washing up, Lin Hai lay on the double bed in the master bedroom, which was over 100 square meters, with a look of emotion on his face. A week ago, his father passed away, and he went from being a wealthy second generation with some assets to a poor man with a huge debt. A week later, the magical elder sister appeared. She not only helped Lin Hai pay off his debts, but also gave him a financial company with a market value of hundreds of millions and a luxurious manor worth more than 1 billion. Moreover, there are several luxury cars parked in the manor, ranging from supercars to business cars. What is even more terrifying is that Lin Hai actually has 5 sisters like this. Thinking of his third sister Lin Yi's connections in the entertainment industry, Lin Hai smiled foolishly. Now that I am rich and powerful, I will set up an entertainment company and follow my third sister into the entertainment circle. I wonder how many beautiful stars I will meet. Tonight, Lin Hai slept very soundly and had many wonderful dreams. Early the next morning, Lin Hai slept until he woke up naturally. After he got up, he practiced some kung fu on the flat green lawn outside to stretch his muscles. Afterwards, Lin Hai returned to the villa, washed up, and went downstairs. Wow, it smells so good. Who is making this delicious food? Lin Hai followed the fragrance and came to the restaurant, where he saw a beautiful figure busying around. Sister, it's you? Good morning. Good morning, brother. Lin Fang's pretty face, which was originally focused, broke into a smile. How was it? Did you sleep well last night? You didn't have insomnia after changing to a new environment, did you? Seeing his elder sister looking at him with concern, Lin Hai felt a warm feeling in his heart. Slept very well, the bed was very comfortable. Lin Fang breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. Okay, go sit in the living room for a while, I'll be ready soon. Okay, big sister. Lin Hai looked at Lin Fang's bare face, and felt that her bright eyes and white teeth exuded a refreshing and capable look, which perfectly displayed the royal sister temperament of a strong woman in the business world. TSK, such a gentle, generous, virtuous and capable elder sister. I wonder which bastard will get the love of her in the future. If only I could live with my elder sister for the rest of my life. Lin Hai felt melancholy and took out his phone out of boredom and started scrolling through his moments. I saw several college classmates posted the same update today. 3 years after graduation, we are holding a college reunion at the Four Seasons Hotel today. 3 years later, our youth will be reunited. See you there. Many students also mentioned Lin Hai in their comments. I wonder if that young master Lin Hai will come. Oh, he has always been arrogant and eccentric, he will definitely not come to participate. Har, you don't know, Lin Hai's family is bankrupt, and he is now in debt. Really? Then he definitely can't come. After all, banquets at the Four Seasons Hotel are very expensive. He definitely can't afford the party. Chapter 21 Sister, you are too naughty. The people who were talking were all hermaphrodites who disliked Lin Hai in college. At that time, they were jealous of Lin Hai's youth and wealth, and his relationship with the school beauty Chen Jie, so they often ridiculed him. Originally, Lin Hai didn't want to attend any class reunion, but after seeing the comments from these hermaphroditic people, he immediately got angry. Damn it, you guys don't want me to come, but I'm going anyway to give you a good slap in the face. At this time, the voice of elder sister Lin Fang came from the restaurant. Brother, go upstairs and call Lin Yi and her agent, and ask them to come down for breakfast. Lin Hai responded immediately, put away his phone and walked to the second floor. When Lin Hai arrived at Lin Yi's door, he was about to knock on it, but was startled to find that the door was half open. Huh? Could it be that my third sister went outside to exercise like me? He pushed open the door and strode into the room. He was surprised to find that Lin Yi was lying on the bed, sleeping soundly. At this time, it was too late for Lin Hai to retreat. In the third sister's boudoir, there was an alluring girlish fragrance floating in the air, which made Lin Hai's heart flutter. Lin Hai coughed. "Third sister, get up." Lin Yi opened her eyes drowsily and glanced at Lin Hai. "Hate it. Let me sleep a little longer." Lin Hai felt his bones lighten when he heard the lazy and coquettish voice. "Third sister, breakfast is ready." Looking at the beautiful appearance of the ever-changing movie queen when she just woke up in the morning, Lin Hai felt itchy in his heart. "My elder sister asked me to call you, hurry up and get up." He barely suppressed the urge in his heart and conveyed his elder sister's order with a stern face. "Humph. You only know how to please the elder sister and don't care about others at all. How annoying." Lin Yi pouted, slowly stood up, and stretched like an elegant and soft cat, looking very pretty. At this moment, the golden morning light shone through the translucent gauze window onto Lin Yi, who was wearing sexy pajamas, making her look pure, attractive and very imaginative. Looking at his graceful third sister, Lin Hai swallowed hard and left the room in embarrassment. "Oh my god, it's so tempting." Lin Hai's heart was pounding. He closed the door gently and immediately fled the scene. Then he knocked on Sister Hong's door and hurriedly informed her. Half an hour later, the three siblings and Sister Hong enjoyed a sumptuous breakfast together. Faced with a table full of delicious food, Lin Fang had no intention of losing weight at all. She ate with relish and enjoyed herself very much. However, she has a special physique and can never gain weight no matter how much she eats. It is really enviable. As an artist, Lin Yi has strict body management and can only eat special nutritious meals with a bitter face. Lin Hai couldn't help laughing when he saw the bitter and vengeful look on his face. "By the way, third sister, is your commercial performance today held in the evening?" Lin Yi nodded, "Yes." "What's wrong?" "Well, my college classmates are having a class reunion at the Four Seasons Hotel at noon today. We haven't seen each other for a few years. I want to go and join in." Hearing this, Lin Yi's eyes lit up and his face was filled with excitement. "Class reunion? Wow, can you take me with you?" After graduating from the film academy, Lin Yi's college classmates went their separate ways and were busy with work, so they never had a reunion. Therefore, Lin Yi was very much looking forward to the legendary class reunion and always wanted to attend it. "No." Before Lin Hai could say anything, his agent Sister Hong came out to stop him. "Lin Yi, you are a big-name artist at the level of a movie queen, how can you attend a private party like that?" If Lin Hai's classmates took private photos of me, they would definitely spread all over the internet. Lin Yi pouted slightly, looking aggrieved. "I just want to see it for myself." "Xiao Hai, can you take your sister to have a look?" She put down her knife and fork, grabbed Lin Hai's arm with her little hand, shook it gently, and spoke softly and coquettishly. Faced with Lin Yi's annoying coquettishness, Lin Hai almost gave in. "Third sister, don't be naughty. If you go, everyone's attention will be on you, and you'll ruin your brother's class reunion." The majestic voice of elder sister Lin Fang sounded, making Lin Yi give up struggling. "By the way, brother, the Porsche 918 is the only car in the manor that has been refueled. You can drive that car to the hotel to attend the party at noon." "Oh my god. Porsche 918. A top-notch supercar worth more than 10 million. Jiangnan Four Seasons Hotel Westin Restaurant. Today, Lin Hai's college classmates' reunion is held here. As a world-renowned 5-star hotel, the Four Seasons Hotel's Westin restaurants are naturally very high-end. Today's class reunion was in the form of a buffet, and the average consumption per person was at least tens of thousands of yuan. The college classmates who will attend this party must be doing well and don't care about this small amount of money. At 11 o'clock in the morning, under the eager gaze of his third sister Lin Yi, Lin Hai drove the bright yellow Porsche 918 straight to the Four Seasons Hotel in the city. As one of the world's top supercars, the Porsche 918 has an elegant shape, powerful power, and extremely precise and comfortable control. Along the way, this bright yellow supercar attracted the attention of countless passers-by and was very eye-catching. Just after entering the city, Lin Hai suddenly saw a familiar figure on the side of the road. He parked the Porsche on the side of the road and waved to the beautiful woman who was anxiously waiting for a taxi. "Yang Lin. Why are you here?" Chapter 22, No Money But Still Pretending. Yang Lin was one of the campus beauties during Lin Hai's college days. She was sweet and charming, and had a good relationship with people. Hey, Lin Hai? Yarn Lin looked at Lin Hai in surprise. Didn't Chen Jie ask, is your family bankrupt? How can you still drive a supercar out for a stroll? When he heard Chen Jie's name, Lin Hai curled his lips. Har har, those are all rumors. My family is fine. By the way, are you going to take a taxi to the Four Seasons Hotel for the party now? Otherwise, why don't you take my car? Hearing this, Yarn Lin's eyes lit up and said, thank you very much. My BMW 3 Series happened to be sent in for repair today, so I had to take a taxi. After saying that, Yarn Lin opened the car door without hesitation and got on the passenger seat. Wow! Porsche 918. There is a male star I like, and this is his dream sports car. I didn't expect that you are driving one now, Lin Hai. TSK, if I could drive a supercar like this in my lifetime, I would be able to rest in peace even if I died. She looked around at the dashboard and interior of the car, with envy in her eyes. Isn't that easy? I'll just let you enjoy it now. Lin Hai and Yarn Lin had a good relationship. Upon hearing this, he immediately unbuckled his seatbelt, got out of the car and switched seats with Yarn Lin. Half an hour later, Yarn Lin drove a Porsche 918 with Lin Hai excitedly to the entrance of the Four Seasons Hotel. At this time, several boys in suits and leather shoes, dressed well, were standing there, ready to greet Yarn Lin. The bright yellow supercar stopped, the driver's door rose automatically, and Yarn Lin, wearing a white professional dress, sat down from the driver's seat. Oh my god, Yarn Lin, I heard that you work for a Fortune 500 company and have an annual salary of over $1 million. I didn't expect that you even bought a supercar like the Porsche 918. This is too exaggerated. Wow, the minimum price of this supercar must be more than 13 million, right? It's really embarrassing. All the Mercedes-Benz and BMWs we drive together cost less than even a fraction of someone else's car. Those boys had liked Yarn Lin since college and had been pursuing her ever since. However, Yarn Lin is very career-oriented. From college to work, she has devoted herself to her studies and career and has always been single. As a result, they fawned even more fiercely, hoping to be the first to win the favor of Yarn Lin, the campus beauty. Yarn Lin smiled sweetly when she heard the flattery from several people. You are wrong, this car is not mine, it belongs to someone else. Yarn Lin walked around to the other side of the Porsche and knocked on the passenger window. Lin Hai, come down and say hello to some old classmates. At this time, the car door rose automatically and Lin Hai walked down from the passenger seat. He shook the phone in his hand and said, sorry, I just received a few messages and was delayed for a while. Yarn Lin was seen placing her little hands attentively on the low roof of the Porsche. Lin Hai, thank you for letting me drive all the way here, this car is such a pleasure. The boys who had been licking Yarn Lin's ass before were all shocked when they saw Lin Hai's face. This guy Lin Hai, didn't his girlfriend Chen Jie say that his father died in an accident and his family has gone bankrupt? How can he still drive a supercar worth tens of millions to attend a class reunion? Someone immediately questioned Lin Hai. Hearing this, Lin Hai blinked at Yarn Lin and said slyly, oh, I will finish using this car today, and will send it to auction to pay off the debt tomorrow. My family is indeed bankrupt. At this time, while in the car, Lin Hai suddenly came up with the routine words he had discussed with Yarn Lin. He wanted to see how many of his old classmates would treat him sincerely if he really fell into poverty, and how many would take advantage of him. Hearing this, the boys looked at Lin Hai with disdain. Har har, Lin Hai, your family is bankrupt, yet you still drive a supercar here to show off. You are so shameless. A boy crossed his arms, sneered, and mocked Lin Hai mercilessly. That's right. When we were in college, you acted arrogant like a nobleman and ignored us commoners. You are still so vain now. It's really speechless. The other boy had a weird look on his face and looked at Lin Hai with contempt in his eyes. Both of them are loyal followers of Yarn Lin. Seeing that Lin Hai had gone from being a rich second generation to a pauper, and had to drive a supercar that was about to be auctioned, bringing Yarn Lin here in a carefree manner, he was already unhappy. What's more, Yarn Lin didn't care at all. She was like a little wife and was extremely attentive to the down and out Lin Hai, which made everyone even more indignant. Lin Hai looked carefully and found that the boys who were talking were Cheng Ran and Wang Gang. It was said that they were both middle-level managers in large companies and their annual salary was over 1 million. Cheng Ran, Wang Gang, long time no see. This car will belong to someone else tomorrow. It's only natural for me to drive it out for a spin, har har. Lin Hai laughed, not caring at all about the two people's ridicule. Cheng Ran snorted coldly and was about to mock him when Yarn Lin suddenly jumped out. She just gave Lin Hai a coquettish roll of the eyes and said, "Oh, Lin Hai, why is your collar crooked? Let me help you fix it." She stretched out her delicate hands and lovingly helped Lin Hai tidy up his clothes, which made the other boys furious. Cheng Ran glared at Lin Hai. "We are having a dinner together in the luxurious Western restaurant of the Four Seasons Hotel today. Every student has to contribute to the cost of the meal and the rental of the venue. This is a lot of money. Lin Hai, are you sure you can still afford it now?" Wang Gang also looked unhappy and joined in the discussion. "That's right. Now your family is bankrupt, and your house and car have to be used to pay off the debts. You may not even have enough food to eat. Do you really want to pretend to be rich and attend today's party?" Seeing this, before Lin Hai could say anything, Yarn Lin came out to rescue him. "Hey, I just paid this small amount of money for Lin Hai, just as a thank you to him for letting me indulge in the supercar addiction today." Seeing the goddess defending Lin Hai so much, Cheng Ran and Wang Gang felt very upset and had nothing to say. "Okay, let us go up first." Yarn Lin pulled Lin Hai and asked everyone to go upstairs. Chapter 23 Watching Your Performance. When they arrived at the Western restaurant on the top floor where a space had been reserved, with the arrival of Yarn Lin, the originally noisy Western restaurant suddenly became quiet. "Look everyone, Yarn Lin is here." Yarn Lin has a sweet appearance and a cheerful and generous personality. She was very popular in college and had a good relationship with others. As soon as many old classmates saw her, they came over to greet her enthusiastically. Lin Hai looked at Yarn Lin, who was busy and happy, smiled indifferently, walked to the window, looked at the river view downstairs, and watched the excitement from the side. Cheng Ran and Wang Gang have been put on his blacklist. I don't know how these old classmates will react when they recognize him. Eh? Isn't this Lin Hai? At this time, a girl pointed at Lin Hai with a look of astonishment and exclaimed to everyone. In an instant, everyone looked at Lin Hai, with different expressions and extremely complicated eyes. When Lin Hai was in college, he was a maverick. He only dated his girlfriend Chen Jie and had little contact with other classmates. All everyone knew was that Lin Hai was a rich second generation who was arrogant and hadn't even joined the classmates group. Some time ago, everyone heard that Lin Hai's father died in an accident, his family was chased for debts, and went bankrupt. This news shocked all the old classmates. They thought that Lin Hai would disappear from the public eye from then on. Unexpectedly, the bankrupt Lin Hai also came to attend the luxurious party held at the Four Seasons Hotel today. When everyone was stunned, Chen Ran rolled his eyes, took a few steps forward, and persuaded Lin Hai in a fake voice. "Lin Hai, didn't your family just go bankrupt? Now hurry up and build relationships with your old classmates. Who knows, they may be able to recommend you some good jobs." Wang Gang also stepped forward and said in a mean way, "That's right, you're down and out now and can't even afford the meal money for today's party. If everyone doesn't give you a hand, you'll definitely be able to deliver takeout in the future." Hearing this, many boys at the scene burst into laughter and looked at Lin Hai with ill intent. When he was in college, Lin Hai hooked up with the campus beauty. He usually looked very arrogant, which made everyone unhappy. Now seeing that this once rich second generation has fallen into poverty, everyone feels extremely happy. We have finally met each other, so we must make fun of each other and vent our anger. Oh, it's so tragic that my family is bankrupt. Well, with Lin Hai's current ability, he can probably only deliver takeout, exposed to the sun and rain every day, and smiling everywhere. It sounds sad. Look at Lin Hai, what a good person he is. His family went bankrupt, but he didn't take it seriously at all and still had the nerve to attend the class reunion. It is said that he plans to borrow money from Yarn Lin to share the expenses of today's party and let the school beauty treat him. TSK, their humblest people are invincible. When a group of male classmates were mocking Lin Hai, Yarn Lin couldn't stand it anymore. She protected Lin Hai and glared at the boys. "Don't talk nonsense. I took the initiative to pay back Lin Hai the money because he lent me his Porsche 918 today and I am very grateful to him." When Cheng Ran saw Yarn Lin, his dream goddess, defending Lin Hai, his face darkened and he flew into a rage. "Yarn Lin, stop flattering him. That Porsche will be auctioned tomorrow to pay off debts. Lin Hai just drove it out to show off." Hearing this, there was a murmur at the scene. Cheng Ran's words made everyone look down on Lin Hai even more. He has become a pauper, but he still wants to drive a sports car to pick up girls. How despicable. At this time, a girl who was surrounded by many boys and dressed exquisitely stood up. Lin Hai, we are all old classmates, you will definitely not stand by and watch someone die. How about this, let me introduce you to a job. What? Su Xian wants to introduce a job to Lin Hai. You know, Su Xian is the best student in this class. She is now a second-tier female anchor of Douhu Live, with millions of fans and an annual income of tens of millions. Although Su Xian's appearance without makeup is not as good as Chen Jie and Yang Lin, but after putting on heavy makeup and turning on filters, she is also stunningly beautiful in front of the camera, a true goddess. No one expected that Su Xian would take the initiative to introduce a job to Lin Hai. Because when Su Xian was in college, she fell in love with the aloof Lin Hai. Regardless of the fact that he already had a girlfriend, she took the initiative to approach him and publicly confessed her love to him downstairs of the dormitory building. At that time, Lin Hai was still infatuated with Chen Jie and rejected her coldly, which made Su Xian lose face and unable to save face. Logically speaking, Su Xian should be the one who hates Lin Hai the most among this group of old classmates, so why would she take the initiative to help him? At this moment, even Lin Hai looked at Su Xian in surprise and was deeply moved. It seems that I was really blind back then. For the sake of Chen Jie, who was as vicious as a snake, I rejected such a kind and generous girl like Su Xian. Su Xian, in front of everyone, crossed her arms and sneered at Lin Hai. Lin Hai, I am in need of a life assistant to serve tea and water. Since you can't find a job now, why not come and join me? Although this job is hard, I work more than 10 hours a day, and if I don't do well, I may be beaten and scolded by the agent next to me. But serving me every day is at least better than delivering food outside, right? Hearing this, Lin Hai's face turned slightly cold. How could Su Xian want to help Lin Hai? It was obvious that he wanted to humiliate Lin Hai and enjoy the pleasure of ordering him around and beating and scolding him at will every day. Cheng Ran and others immediately understood Su Xian's thoughts, looked at Lin Hai hypocritically, and tried to persuade him. Wow, Su Xian really cherishes the old times. Even now that she has become successful, she still remembers to support Lin Hai. That's right. Lin Hai, why don't you thank Su Xian for her help? Go and be someone else's assistant. That's right, one must be grateful as a human being. How cruel. Su Xian is kind enough to offer you such a good job. You will be the boss you will have to serve every day in the future. You should express your opinion quickly. Lin Hai frowned and sneered continuously on his face. He glanced at Chen Ran and the others, allowing these clowns to perform at will. You guys. Yang Lin couldn't stand it any longer. She glared at the complacent Su Xian, Cheng Ran and others, and was so angry that she couldn't speak. Just then, a mature and steady figure walked in at the door. Look everyone, Mr. Chen is here. Everyone at the scene turned around, their faces changed, and they rushed to the door. Chapter 24 Lin Yi is mine. This Mr. Chen is Su Xian's financial sponsor, investor in Douhu Live, and a well-known tycoon. Such a big shot with a net worth of billions is a great man in the eyes of everyone. Who knows, the company where I work might ask Mr. Chen for help one day. Therefore, everyone came forward to greet Mr. Chen with a fawning look on their faces. Cheng Ran, who had just wantonly humiliated Lin Hai, squeezed in front of the crowd with a fawning smile on his face, and nodded and bowed to Mr. Chen. Lin Hai looked at Mr. Chen and saw that he was about 40 years old, fat and big-eared, with a Mediterranean hairstyle and a small belly in the middle. He looked like a greasy middle-aged man. Among the many old classmates present, only Lin Hai and Yang Lin did not come forward. Yang Lin, why don't you go up and say hello? Hearing this, Yang Lin rolled her eyes at Lin Hai. I don't rely on my body to get ahead, so why should I curry favor with an old pervert like this? She looked at Su Xian, who was feeling smug at the moment, with disdain. Honey, why are you here? Su Xian was smiling at this time, holding Mr. Chen's arm intimately, her face full of pride and pride. Baby, I happen to be entertaining a big client here today, so just come and take a look. Mr. Chen smiled and put his arms around Su Xian's slender waist, looking very proud. He really enjoyed the feeling of being surrounded by people. Mr. Chen, you are so busy, but you still come to visit us. We are really flattered. Cheng Ran walked forward with a flattering look on his face and bowed slightly to the fat and big-eared Mr. Chen. Cheng Ran, right? I heard my baby mention you. Well, work hard. If you need any help, just come to me. Mr. Chen looked easygoing. He stretched out his hand and shook hands casually with Cheng Ran. Cheng Ran was very excited when he heard this and thanked Mr. Chen for his support. Seeing this, Wang Gang also came over. Mr. Chen, I have a startup project and need financial support. Hearing this, Mr. Chen glanced at Wang Gang. Oh, you are talking about this. No problem, let me see the project book and I will give you a reply another day. Wang Gang was overjoyed. Thank you, Mr. Chen, you have solved my urgent problem. He lowered his head, bent over, and bowed repeatedly, his face full of joy. When the others saw this, they also rushed forward, vying to curry favor with Mr. Chen, flattering him and asking him for help. Seeing that her lover was so popular, Su Xian on the side couldn't stop smiling, her face full of pride, and she looked very smug. At this moment, she noticed Lin Hai standing still out of the corner of her eye, and she became immediately furious. Dear, I have an old classmate who just went bankrupt. I plan to recruit him as my assistant. Could you please help me see if he is capable? Su Xian's words stunned everyone at the scene. It was Chen Ran who reacted first. He saw a cold light flash in Su Xian's eyes, and stared at Lin Hai with a sneer on her face, and immediately guessed what the other person was thinking. Lin Hai, Mr. Chen is here to honor you, and you are just standing there instead of coming over to say hello. You are so bold. Wang Gang also stood up and said, That's right, do you still think you are a rich second generation who has no worries about food and clothing? Now Su Xian is ready to reward you with a job. As long as you can get Mr. Chen to nod, this job will be yours. The other boys also chimed in, That's right, Lin Hai, if you don't want to deliver food every day, come over and let Mr. Chen take a look. If he likes you, then the job is done. Lin Hai sneered, crossed his arms across his chest, and stood there with a calm expression, not moving a muscle. Mr. Chen was originally smiling and waiting for Lin Hai to come forward with a reserved look on his face. At this time, seeing Lin Hai looking at him with disdain, he couldn't help but get furious. His face darkened, and he took Su Xian and walked up to Lin Hai. Young man, you seem to look down on me? Lin Hai smiled slightly, his eyes full of sarcasm. I'm sorry, Su Xian is my assistant, but you are not qualified to serve me every day. Why should I ask you to do anything for me? What? Lin Hai's words shocked the whole audience, and the scene fell into dead silence in an instant. Su Xian's originally smug smile froze immediately. She opened her mouth wide and looked at Lin Hai in disbelief. Lin Hai, what did you say? I want to be your assistant. Har har, are you still asleep? I have millions of fans and I'm a famous anchor. Would I be your assistant, a poor guy? Su Xian was so angry that she laughed and looked at Lin Hai as if he was a lunatic. Even a movie queen like Lin Yi is an artist under my company. I don't look down on a low-level internet celebrity like you. Lin Hai's expression was calm, and his words made the whole audience speechless. After being stunned for a while, Su Xian burst out laughing. It seems that you are out of your mind. Lin Yi is a film queen. When did she become an artist under your company? Lin Hai, you don't even draft your lies, you will only make people laugh at you, don't you know? Hearing this, Cheng Ran and others burst into laughter and started to mock Lin Hai. This guy must be crazy, he actually said that the movie queen is his artist. Oh, I was wondering why he was so rampant, it turns out he has something wrong with his brain. Lin Hai, you are not even qualified to lick Lin Yi's shoes, and yet you dare to say such shamelessly? Go to a mental hospital immediately. At this time, Su Xian hugged Mr. Chen's arm and said in a sweet voice, Honey, look, this person is humiliating me in front of everyone, and you don't even help him. Mr. Chen laughed and said, Baby, don't worry, I will help you vent your anger. After saying that, he glared at Lin Hai and said, Boy, kneel down immediately and kowtow to apologize to my girlfriend. If you can't satisfy her today, forget about finding you a job. Once I give the order, no one in the whole of Jiangnan will dare to hire you. Do you believe it? Humph. If you piss me off, you won't be able to deliver food, and even begging on the street will get you chased and beaten. Mr. Chen pointed at Lin Hai's nose, looked arrogant, and threatened him viciously. When Cheng Ran and others saw that Mr. Chen was angry, they were all shocked and terrified. Mr. Chen is a famous investor in Jiangnan, a powerful figure in the entire Jiangnan business community. Everyone believed that with Mr. Chen's power, if Lin Hai didn't bow his head today, Mr. Chen would make it clear that Lin Hai would run into obstacles everywhere and wouldn't be able to find any job in the whole Jiangnan area. Even Yang Lin became furious and shook Lin Hai's arm anxiously. Lin Hai, apologize to Mr. Chen and Su Xian immediately, otherwise, you will be in big trouble. Hearing this, Lin Hai smiled slightly and did not comment. Just as Mr. Chen and Su Xian were staring at Lin Hai and everyone was nervously watching the confrontation between the two sides, a clear, pleasant and very excited voice suddenly came from the door of the Western restaurant. Xiao Hai. Chapter 25 Big Trouble. At this moment, the scene was quiet and this voice attracted everyone's attention. Everyone turned around and saw a beautiful woman with a stunning appearance walking quickly towards Lin Hai. Isn't he this person, the movie queen Lin Yi? When everyone recognized the identity of the beautiful lady, they all looked stunned, with disbelief in their eyes. When Su Xian saw the movie queen Lin Yi suddenly appear, her eyes bulged out and her eyeballs almost fell to the ground. Mr. Chen's eyes widened with disbelief. What is going on? Could it be that what Lin Hai said was true? Lin Hai looked at Lin Yi, who suddenly appeared, and was surprised. Third sister, why are you here? Lin Yi smiled playfully, took Lin Hai's arm and said crisply, my elder sister happened to have a social event at the Four Seasons Hotel, so I came over to take a look and experience your class reunion. She looked at Lin Hai's classmates with a smile and greeted them openly. Hello everyone, I am Lin Hai's sister Lin Yi, nice to meet you all. Xiao Hai, are these all your college classmates? Lin Yi looked hesitantly at Mr. Chen, a fat man with a Mediterranean hairstyle. Is this your university teacher? When Mr. Chen heard this, he immediately came to his senses and a humble and ingratiating smile appeared on his face. Ms. Lin Yi, I am the general manager of Dohu Live. It is an honor to meet you. This is my business card. Lin Yi was about to reach out to take it, but was stopped by Lin Hai. Har har, Mr. Chen, didn't you just ask me to kowtow and apologize to your girlfriend? Why are you fawning over my sister again now? What? Lin Yi's pretty face sank. Xiao Hai, what's going on? Lin Hai told Lin Yi the whole story in his ear. After listening to this, Lin Yi glared at Su Xian fiercely. You are low-ranking internet anchor, and you want my brother Lin Yi to be your assistant and serve you every day. Under Lin Yi's powerful aura, Su Xian was so frightened that her face turned pale and her whole body trembled. My senior Lin Hai. Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and others were all shocked at this moment. No one expected that Lin Hai's sister is actually a top-tier celebrity, the famous international film queen Lin Yi. Compared with Lin Yi, Su Xian is really different from Lin Yi, just like a pheasant versus a phoenix, and they are instantly reduced to slag. The mobile version of Remember in 1 Second provides you with wonderful novel reading. Seeing Su Xian hesitating, Mr. Chen became furious and slapped her hard on the back of the head. What are you still standing there for? Apologize to this little brother immediately. You are so blind that you even dare to bully the movie queen's brother. You have made me lose face. Mr. Chen has been in the entertainment industry for a long time and is well aware of the enormous power of film queen Lin Yi. Such big name stars with huge influence can only be flattered in a nice way and must not be offended. In comparison, there are a lot of small internet celebrities like Su Xian. When you get tired of them, you can just dump them and find a new one. Su Xian was slapped by Mr. Chen, making her dizzy and her hair messy. She touched the back of her head, with tears in her eyes, and bowed deeply to Lin Hai. I'm sorry, Lin Hai, I didn't recognize the real talent, please forgive me. Lin Hai sneered, you are such a bully, I don't want to bother with people like you. He narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at Mr. Chen expressionlessly. Didn't you say before that if I didn't kowtow and apologize, you would kill me immediately and make me unable to find a job in the whole Jiangnan area and have to beg for food on the street? Mr. Chen nodded and bowed to Lin Hai. Little brother, no, Mr. Lin, I was too old and confused before, please don't bear grudge against me. What I said was bullshit, I really deserve a slap in the face. After saying that, he smiled apologetically and patted his face twice. Lin Yi snorted coldly, her beautiful eyes widened, and she said delicately, who are you trying to please? Mr. Chen, you dare to bully my brother Lin Yi. If you don't kowtow and apologize to my brother today, don't think I will let you off easily. Now, kowtow and apologize to my brother immediately, or you will suffer the consequences. Mr. Chen was pointed at in the nose and scolded by Lin Yi, and his face turned blue and white. At this time, Cheng Ran and others saw Lin Yi showing off her feminine power and giving Mr. Chen a severe scolding. They were all frightened and turned pale. Oh my god. Even a big shot like Mr. Chen had to be forced by Lin Hai's sister to kowtow and apologize to Lin Hai. Wouldn't Cheng Ran and other insignificant little people have a much more miserable fate? Suddenly, everyone's eyes were focused on Mr. Chen. Everyone wanted to see whether Mr. Chen would admit his mistake and kowtow to Lin Hai to apologize. Mr. Chen looked struggling and hesitated for a long time. Finally, he became angry and his face changed. Mr. Lin, don't think that just because you are movie queen, you can dominate the entertainment industry. At worst, I can sell all my shares in the live broadcast and entertainment companies and switch to other careers. You want me to kowtow and apologize to this kid? Just dream on. Lin Yi was startled, then her pretty face turned cold and she said in a deep voice, "Are you sure you don't want to apologize to my brother?" Mr. Chen gritted his teeth and said, "That's right, I won't serve you anymore. What can you do to me? From now on, I won't be in the entertainment industry anymore. I'll just leave and do something else." Upon hearing this, Su Xian felt like crying but had no tears. She had a sad face and grabbed Mr. Chen's arm pitifully. "Honey, if you don't get involved in the entertainment industry anymore, what will people do?" Bang! Mr. Chen suddenly exploded and slapped Su Xian hard, leaving the entire audience in dead silence and shock. "You bitch! If it weren't for you and these sycophants instigating me, how could I have offended the movie queen's brother? Do you know how much money I have to lose because of you?" Mr. Chen has been suppressed by Lin Yi and was even forced to leave the entertainment industry. He felt very depressed. At this time, Su Xian still dared to jump out and act coquettishly. She really deserves to be punished. Bang! Mr. Chen became angrier and angrier as he thought about it, and he slapped Su Xian again. The clear and crisp sound echoed throughout the entire place, causing Cheng Ran and the others to tremble in fear. Boss Chen glanced at Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and the others, and said viciously, "You bastards, you just tried to sow discord in a sarcastic way, and caused me to offend a big shot who I can't afford to offend. I'm telling you, I'm in big trouble, and you guys won't have an easy time either. You still want me to do something for you? Oh. After I get back, I will contact your boss and kick you all out of the company. You will never be able to survive in Jiangnan again. If I can't handle the movie queen's brother, can I handle you?" Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and others were so frightened that they turned pale and knelt on the ground at the same time, begging for mercy from Mr. Chen. "Mr. Chen, please don't." At this time, Lin Yi sneered a few times. "What a great Mr. Chen! So majestic and fierce. It's really eye-opening." Then, Lin Yi took out his cell phone, dialed a number, and whispered something to the other party. Mr. Chen was desperate at this time, and said sarcastically, "Mother Lin, don't waste your energy. No matter who you find, I won't serve you. I've already quit the entertainment industry, what else do you want? I just don't believe that you are just an actor in the entertainment industry. What can you do to me?" Lin Hai crossed his arms, laughed a few times, and looked at Mr. Chen with a smile. "Boy, what are you laughing at?" Mr. Chen said with a gloomy and unhappy look. "Didn't you hear just now that my eldest sister is entertaining guests at the Four Seasons Hotel?" Lin Hai said jokingly, "You think my third sister can't deal with you, then do you know who my eldest sister is? Read 3. Tips from this site. If you cannot read in the free reading mode, please return to the source site to read. Chapter 26 10% off purchase. For some reason, when Mr. Chen heard Lin Hai's words, he suddenly felt a chill in his heart, which made him shiver. "Who is your eldest sister?" Mr. Chen tried hard to calm himself, but his voice couldn't help but tremble. Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and others knelt on the ground, staring blankly at Lin Hai, also with confused expressions on their faces. "Oh my god! You already have a sister who is a movie queen. Is your eldest sister even more awesome? Is he even so awesome that he could force a big shot like Mr. Chen to kneel down and beg for mercy on the spot?" Mr. Chen, Cheng Ran and others looked at Lin Hai in fear, even their breathing became slower. "Yes, my elder sister is here." Lin Hai just smiled slightly and pointed towards the door of the Western restaurant. When everyone turned around, they were all scared to death with pale faces and dull eyes. Lin Fang. The person standing at the door of the restaurant was actually Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan. If we say that film queen Lin Yi is able to call the shots in the entertainment industry, she has the power of life and death over second and third tier artists, as well as small-time internet celebrities. Lin Fang, the richest man in Jiangnan, is an incredible figure in the entire Jiangnan. Her Fanghua Group is a leading flagship company in all key industries in Jiangnan. It can be said that Lin Fang's words can decide the life or death of other companies. Mr. Chen knows this better than anyone else present. Thump. When Mr. Chen saw Lin Fang, his eyes widened with a look of disbelief. After Lin Fang walked into the restaurant, she pinched Lin Hai's face affectionately and called him brother affectionately. Mr. Chen's heart skipped a beat, his knees went weak, and he fell to the ground. Finished. It's all over now. If facing the film queen Lin Yi, Mr. Chen still has some confidence to confront her. Now it's Lin Fang's turn. He doesn't even have the courage to struggle. In the Jiangnan business world, Lin Fang is the supreme king. Just one word from the other party can completely ban Mr. Chen. Let his company's partners terminate their business dealings. Banks and other financial institutions are asked to collect loans, resulting in a break in the capital chain and financial collapse. Mr. Chen had no doubt that if Lin Fang disliked him, she would definitely make him go bankrupt quickly, end up on the streets, and beg for food miserably. He looked at Lin Hai, feeling filled with remorse. If I had known that this kid had such an awesome sister, I would never have dared to mess with him even if I were beaten to death. Lin Fang heard the report of the situation from her third sister Lin Yi on the phone. Her pretty face was filled with anger, and she glanced indifferently at Mr. Chen who was lying on the ground. Fatty Chen, you are so bold that you dare to threaten my brother Lin Fang. You still want him to kneel down and apologize to your fat man Chen's mistress. You are so majestic. Lin Fang's tone was filled with cold murderous intent, and she was obviously extremely angry. Upon hearing this, Fatty Chen was frightened out of his wits. He immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed hard to Lin Fang and her two siblings. Boss Lin, this is all a misunderstanding. Please be magnanimous and forgive me. After saying that, Fatty Chen's eyes turned red. He crawled a few steps on his knees on the ground and came in front of Cheng Ran and others who were also kneeling on the ground. Bang! Bang! Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and others were slapped hard by Fatty Chen, leaving clearly visible red palm prints on their faces. Boss Lin, it was these bitches who misled me, made me blinded by greed, and offended your brother. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I'm a bad mouth, I'm a fool, I'm a despicable person. Bang bang bang. Fatty Chen slapped himself without hesitation, each slap was harder and heavier than the last. He slapped her fair and tender face until it was red and swollen, and the sound of slapping her repeatedly echoed throughout the venue. Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and others covered their burning faces and were dumbfounded. They didn't expect that the originally arrogant Fatty Chen would be so scared when he met Lin Fang, a top figure in Jiangnan, and he would even lick her hands and kneel down to her more than them. Su Xian was watching in amazement and fear. She knew that no matter how much suffering Fatty Chen had suffered in front of Lin Fang, after returning home, he will definitely get worse and vent all his anger on her. Lin Fang said nothing, and watched Fatty Chen slap himself in the face with an indifferent expression. She didn't wave her hand until the other person's originally fair face was beaten purple and blood was flowing from the corner of his mouth. It's too late to apologize now. Fatty Chen paused and stopped slapping himself. He was stunned for a moment, then kowtowed to Lin Fang, leaving the originally clean floor covered in blood, which was extremely horrifying. Boss Lin, please show some mercy and spare me. Fatty Chen saw Lin Fang's cold face and turned to face Lin Yi without saying a word. Ms. Lin, I was blind and didn't recognize the great man. Please forgive me. Lin Yi smiled proudly. Didn't you say before that I was just an actor and couldn't do anything to you? How about now? Hearing this, Fatty Chen forced himself into a flattering smile that was uglier than crying. I was wrong, I'm a bad mouth, please don't bother with me. Lin Yi put her hands behind her back and nodded at Lin Hai. You've been asking the wrong person for help. I'm telling you how to deal with you today. We will listen to my brother Xiao Hai. Lin Fang also nodded and looked at Lin Hai. An extremely gentle smile appeared on her originally cold face. Brother, tell me what to do with this fat guy. Fatty Chen suddenly realized what was going on and kowtowed to Lin Hai several times. Mr. Lin, Lin Hai interrupted with a wave of his hand, looking impatient. Okay, stop whining. You can escape death penalty, but you can't escape punishment while alive. Since you apologized so sincerely. Hearing this, Fatty Chen was overjoyed and grinned. You just need to sell me all the shares of your company at a 10% discount, and then get out of Jiangnan. Snap. It was like a muffled thunder that hit Fatty Chen's head, making his head buzz and he couldn't recover for a long time. What did you say? After hearing Lin Hai's conditions, Fatty Chen was horrified and looked incredulous. Tips from this site: if you cannot read in the free reading mode, please return to the source site to read. Chapter 27 Horrible. What? I'm being merciful, but you still want to take advantage of me. Lin Hai's face darkened and he said in a cold voice, since you are not satisfied, I will ask my elder sister to ban you directly. By then, your company's business will be interrupted, cash flow will be in crisis, and you will have no choice but to go bankrupt, and you won't be able to get back even a dime. Perhaps, they will even have to owe a lot of foreign debts, and either flee abroad and live in misery, or end up on the streets and become beggars. Har har, you choose. Fatty Chen was so frightened by Lin Hai's words that he broke out in cold sweat and shivered constantly. I'll choose to sell all the company's shares to you. Fatty Chen closed his eyes, looked ashen, lowered his head, and admitted defeat obediently. Very good, you are sensible. Lin Hai smiled slightly. Okay, go away. Don't disturb my class reunion. Go to Fanghua Group tomorrow to handle the handover procedures. If you dare to regret it then, hee hee. When Fatty Chen saw Lin Fang looking at him fiercely, he started to tremble with fear. Mr. Lin, don't worry, I will be there on time tomorrow morning. Lin Hai nodded. All right, get out of here. Upon hearing this, Fatty Chen breathed a sigh of relief as if he had been pardoned. He wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, struggled to stand up, and bowed deeply to Lin Hai and his two siblings. Then, Fat Chen turned and walked hurriedly towards the restaurant entrance. Wait! At this moment, Lin Hai suddenly spoke, which scared Fatty Chen so much that he staggered and almost fell to the ground. Mr. Lin, do you have any other instructions? He was pale and looked at Lin Hai in horror. Lin Hai pointed at Su Xian, his eyes full of disgust. Take your little lover away, or you will dirty my eyes. Yes, Mr. Lin. Fatty Chen bowed respectfully, pulled Su Xian's hair roughly, and slapped her twice in the face. Bitch, why don't you thank Master Lin for his mercy and for sparing your life? At this time, the foundation on Su Xian's face, which was originally heavily made up, had fallen off, and was covered with bright red slap marks, making her look like a scary female ghost. She burst into tears and kowtowed to Lin Hai to admit her mistake. I'm sorry, Master Lin, I'm a jerk and I offended you. Thank you for showing mercy. I won't dare to do it again. Lin Hai snorted coldly and waved his hand impatiently, as if to drive away an annoying fly. Seeing this, Fatty Chen grabbed Su Xian's arm and took her away from the scene like dragging a dead dog. Bitch, what are you still standing there for? Get out of here right now. Fatty Chen was like a mouse seeing a cat, extremely well behaved in front of Lin Hai and his sister. But in front of Su Xian, he was like a cruel bully, beating and scolding her at every turn. Mr. Lin, don't worry, all my shares will be transferred to you tomorrow. I will also take this bitch back and give her a good beating. If she dares to offend young Master Lin, I will never forgive her. Fatty Chen walked towards the restaurant entrance, nodding and bowing to Lin Hai with a forced smile on his face. He looked like a fawning court eunuch, very funny. Su Xian, who was following Fatty Chen, was so scared that her whole body was shaking and she was crying loudly. After the two men left the restaurant door, they soon heard the sound of fists and kicks coming from outside the door. In between were Su Xian's shrill wails and pleas for mercy. It seems that Fatty Chen can't wait to go back and deal with Su Xian, and now wants to vent all his anger on his mistress. At this time, Lin Hai's gaze shifted to Cheng Ran and Wang Gang. Seeing Lin Hai looking at him with a half-smile, Cheng Ran's teeth trembled and he kowtowed to Lin Hai several times. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the real talent. Can you please let me live? Seeing this, Wang Gang also kowtowed and begged for mercy. The two men were slapped hard by the furious Fatty Chen, and several of their front teeth fell out. At this time, the two of them were talking so hard that even their apologies and confessions were mumbled and difficult to hear clearly. However, the other people at the scene, hearing this slightly funny voice, no one dared to laugh, and they all looked at Lin Hai in fear. When the others saw the miserable state of Cheng Ran and the other man, they felt sympathetic and looked at Lin Hai pitifully, fearing that they would be punished as well. You know, it wasn't just Cheng Ran and Wang Gang who laughed at Lin Hai before. If Lin Hai were to settle the accounts, no one would be able to escape. Even the big shot in everyone's eyes, the famous Mr. Chen, had to kneel down obediently and let Lin Hai deal with him. How could anyone else have the mind to resist? Yarn Lin was shocked when she saw this astonishing scene. She was skeptical about what Lin Hai had said before, their family was not bankrupt. Later, when he saw Lin Hai openly provoking Mr. Chen, he was frightened and turned pale. Yarn Lin was convinced at the time that Lin Hai must have lost his mind to dare to contradict Mr. Chen in public. She could never have imagined that Lin Hai, who was looked down upon by others, actually knew the movie queen Lin Yi and was her younger brother. What's more, Lin Hai's eldest sister was even more awesome, and scared Mr. Chen so much that he kowtowed and apologized on the spot. Alas, no wonder Mr. Chen was so scared. Lin Hai's two sisters are both powerful figures who can make things happen. In the whole Jiangnan region, anyone who sees this must kneel. At this time, Yarn Lin looked at Lin Hai with a complicated expression. Lin Hai looked at Cheng Ran and Wang Gang, who were knelt and begging for mercy, and sighed. "We are all classmates, please stand up. I hope you will remember this profound lesson. Don't beg for mercy or lick the boots of important people. When faced with down and out old classmates, they show off their power and scramble to trample on them. Okay, that's all I have to say, you guys take care of yourself." Lin Hai's words made Cheng Ran, Wang Gang and others feel ashamed and speechless. They struggled to get up, looked at each other, and lowered their heads, feeling too embarrassed to face anyone. "Today's class reunion, you guys can continue reminiscing about the past, I won't be attending. By the way, I'll cover today's expenses. It's just a small token of my appreciation. Big sister, third sister, let's go." Lin Hai looked disinterested and turned away with his two sisters. Seeing that Lin Hai was so magnanimous as to let this group of old classmates go and even pay for everyone, Yarn Lin couldn't help but feel a liking for him and looked at him with admiration. It is so hard to find such a kind man who is so affectionate, loyal and nostalgic nowadays. Thinking that the other party had broken up with Chen Jie and is now single again, Yarn Lin couldn't help but blush, her heart was pounding. "Yarn Lin, you have my WeChat, let's contact each other when we are free." At this time, Lin Hai had already walked to the door of the restaurant and waved to Yarn Lin with a bright smile on his face. "Well, I'll come find you when I'm free." Yarn Lin nodded heavily, feeling secretly delighted. "OMG. Lin Hai actually greeted me alone, it seems that he is also interested in me." After leaving the restaurant, Lin Yi pouted and said with disappointment, "It turns out that the so-called class reunion is so boring. If I had known, I would not have come." Lin Fang smiled and said, "I told you a long time ago that class reunions are boring, but you just didn't believe me. Are you dumbfounded now?" Lin Hai shook his head and said, "Among so many classmates, there are only one or two people I can chat with. It's worth it to meet such old friends. As for the other snobs, just ignore them." Lin Fang scratched Lin Hai's nose affectionately. "Brother, I feel relieved if you can think positively. Okay, class reunions are boring, why don't you go to the business social event with your elder sister?" Hearing this, Lin Yi's eyes lit up. "Xiao Hai, let's go quickly. Let's order more delicacies from the mountains and the sea and try to eat big sister out of money." The three siblings chatted and laughed as they came to the rooftop box at the Four Seasons Hotel. At this time, Dong Chen, a wealthy businessman who came from Beijing, had been waiting for a long time. He thought of Lin Fang who was about to come over, his heart was burning with excitement and his face was full of impatience. "Xiao Wang, is everything arranged?" Assistant Wang nodded respectfully. "Boss, don't worry. That Lin Fang will not be able to escape from your grasp today." Tips from this site: if you cannot read in the free reading mode, please return to the source site to read. Chapter 28: Falling into a Trap. Assistant Wang held the bottle of 1990 Le2 red wine and smiled in an extremely sinister manner. "Boss, I have put a colorless and odorless drug in this red wine. When Lin Fang comes, she will definitely be caught. When the time comes, you will carry the immobile beauty into the bedroom and enjoy the beauty of Jiangnan's #1 queen in front of the camera. He, even if Lin Fang wakes up, under the threat of the live video, she can only become your slave." Hearing this, Dong Chen threw his head back and laughed, his face full of pride. On the other side, Lin Fang took Lin Hai and Lin Yi to the elevator and went directly to the luxurious box on the top floor. "Sister, what is the origin of this big customer today?" Lin Hai asked curiously. "Oh, this Uncle Dong who came from Shanjing is my father's business partner. He used to take good care of me. This time, he heard that his father had passed away, so he came all the way from Shanjing to chat with us." Soon, three people walked into the box. Uncle Dong, sorry to have kept you waiting. This is my third sister, Lin Yi, and my father's only son, Lin Hai. After entering the door, Lin Fang introduced Lin Hai and Dong Chen to them with a smile. Dong Chen felt itchy when he saw the cold, elegant and noble Lin Fang. Seeing the beautiful and charming Lin Yi following behind her, he was even more ecstatic. As for the young Lin Hai, he didn't care at all and didn't think he posed any threat. Uncle Dong, hello. Lin Yi and her brother took the initiative to greet Dong Chen. Lin Hai saw that Dong Chen was about 50 years old, with grey hair on his temples, and he looked at everyone kindly. Hello, don't be polite with Uncle Dong, sit down first. Dong Chen was very enthusiastic. He stood up and walked to Lin Fang and Lin Yi. He took the initiative to pull out chairs for his two nieces, acting like a gentleman who cares for his younger generation. After Lin Hai and the other two sat down, Assistant Wang opened a bottle of the two red wine and poured it for the three of them. Come on, third sister, brother, the three of us, let's toast to Uncle Dong and thank him for taking care of our Lin family over the years. Hearing this, Lin Yi and Lin Hai raised their glasses, followed their eldest sister Lin Fang and stood up to toast Dong Chen. Oh, Xiao Fang is getting heavier. You are the children of brother Lin Song, and you are also the younger generation of me, Dong. It is only right that I should take good care of you. Dong Chen held the glass of white wine, looked at Lin Fang with a smile, and clinked glasses with the three siblings. Xiao Fang, uncle is used to drinking white wine, you don't mind, right? Of course I don't mind, as long as Uncle Dong is happy. Lin Fang smiled sweetly and drank it all in one gulp respectfully. She respected her adoptive father Lin Song, so she was naturally not wary of her father's good friend Dong Chen. Seeing this, Lin Yi and Lin Hai also drank it all. Cheers to Uncle Dong. Seeing Lin Fang and the other two finish all the red wine in the glasses, Dong Chen and the assistant looked at each other and smiled triumphantly. By the way, Uncle Dong, you came here this time and said you wanted to cooperate with our Fanghua group. I wonder what exactly you mean. The fastest update SM. After the greetings, Lin Fang took the initiative to ask. Dong Chen laughed. I came here this time to acquire Fanghua group. What? Acquire Fanghua group? Lin Fang's heart skipped a beat and she looked at Dong Chen in disbelief. Dong Chen said in a pretentious tone, Oh, my dear niece, your father is dead. As your uncle, of course I have to take good care of you. Look at you, you're already over 30 and you're still busy with your career. You haven't found someone to marry and take good care of you. How can this be ridiculous? Then you sell the company to Uncle Dong for a symbolic price of $1. From now on, just stay at home and take care of your husband and children. Isn't that wonderful? Don't worry, Uncle will serve you comfortably every day from now on, and I guarantee that you will be so beautiful that you will burst with pleasure. After saying that, Dong Chen looked at Lin Fang with lustful eyes, his eyes full of naked desire. Lin Fang's face turned pale, her eyes widened, and she glared at Dong Chen who suddenly turned hostile. You! She was so angry that she was shaking all over and couldn't even utter a curse word. Lin Yi was also very angry. She pointed at Dong Chen and cursed at him. You old fool, you are so shameless. You clearly want to take over my eldest sister's company for free and occupy her, but you actually speak so righteously, as if you are doing this for our own good. Bar. Dream on in your autumn dream. Dong Chen turned his head and stared at Lin Yi, whose pretty face turned red with anger, and smacked his lips. TSK, sorry, I forgot there's a charming little baby here. Lin Yi, don't worry, except for your elder sister, you can't escape. Lin Hai looked at Dong Chen coldly, with his arms folded across his chest, a sarcastic smile on his face. You treat your best friend's daughter like this. Aren't you afraid that my father will find out and come to settle the score with you tonight? Bar. Dong Chen said with disdain, Don't mention your father, that short-lived guy. I have been envious of Lin Song's precious daughters for a long time. Over the years, he has been keeping a close eye on me, preventing me from even seeing my nieces. It really pissed me off. At this point, Dong Chen's face revealed a sinister and vicious look. So, I decided to go all out. When your dad was driving home after the party, I tampered with his car. Hey, haven't we met yet? He looked at the two beauties, Lin Fang and Lin Yi, with lustful eyes and smiled in an extremely lewd manner. You? After hearing this, Lin Hai felt a chill in his heart. He widened his eyes and stared at Dong Chen. You actually killed my dad. A week ago, Lin Hai's father died in a car accident. The entire Mercedes was burned to ashes, and the law enforcement department hastily closed the case as a traffic accident. Lin Hai never expected that his father did not die in an accident, but was murdered. You can't blame me for this. You can only blame your father for offending a big shot who you can't afford to offend. I was just following orders. Snap. Dong Chen's words were like a bolt from the blue, exploding in the minds of Lin Hai and his two siblings, and they couldn't recover for a long time. You son of a bitch, you dare to kill my dad, I'm going to kill you. Lin Hai's eyes were red and he was furious. He stood up with force. However, he was horrified to find that his limbs were weak, like cotton, and his whole body was soft. He couldn't even lift a finger. At this time, Lin Fang also wanted to take out her cell phone and call Dong Bao and others who were guarding the lobby on the first floor of the Four Seasons Hotel to come up. Similarly, she suddenly realized that she was completely exhausted and unable to move. What's going on? Why can't we move? At this time, Lin Yi screamed loudly. Lin Hai looked at the red wine glasses of the three people on the table and the white wine that Dong Chen was drinking, and gritted his teeth and said, "There's something wrong with that red wine. Dong Chen. You actually put drugs in the wine." Lin Fang glared at Dong Chen, her face livid with anger. Despicable. Shameless. You have absolutely no conscience. Dong Chen stood up and laughed. With a lewd smile, he walked towards Lin Fang and Lin Yi step by step. Read 3. Tips from this site. If you cannot read in the free reading mode, please return to the source site to read. Chapter 29, The Fiery Second Sister. My two little darlings, this room is soundproof. You can shout and yell as much as you want. No one outside can hear a single sound. Dong Chen walked up to Lin Fang, bent down, closed his eyes, and savored the seductive body fragrance of the most powerful lady in Jiangnan. It smells so good. TSK, Xiaofang, what kind of perfume are you using? I'm so greedy. Lin Fang was so angry that she wanted to scratch Dong Chen hard, but unfortunately her hands were completely unable to move and she could only stare in anger. Afterwards, Dong Chen came to Lin Yi again, looking at her delicate and charming facial features with a look of amazement. She is worthy of being an international film queen. Her beauty is simply amazing. Lin Yi looked at Dong Chen, who had a lewd look on his face, with horror. Thinking that she would be abused by such a scum, she wanted to grit her teeth and commit suicide. Unfortunately, the drug was now fully effective and she couldn't even move her tongue. Her eyelids were becoming heavier and heavier, and it seemed like she would faint at any moment. Finally, Dong Chen came to Lin Hai and looked at him with interest. Boy, I heard that you just met your two sisters. Oh, your father is such a piece of shit. It's fine if he doesn't allow my nephew to get close to his precious daughters, but why did he even hide it from you, his own son? Dong Chen nodded at the two beautiful ladies, Lin Fang and Lin Yi. Don't worry, your sister is so beautiful and sexy, I will take good care of her for you. Oh, right, this 5-spice muscle softening powder. Once you're hit by it, your body won't be able to move, but your mind will still be clear. How about I move you to the bedroom later so you can admire it? Lin Hai was so angry that his eyes turned red and he looked as if he was about to burst out with anger. Under the powerful effect of the 5-spice softening powder, his tongue became uncontrollable and his countless curses could only turn into unclear mumblings. Har har har. Dong Chen smiled with great pride and came between Lin Fang and Lin Yi with a smirk on his face. Lin Hai, it seems you agree. Hey, how about I show you first? After saying that, Dong Chen lifted Lin Fang's chin. Come on, little beauties, I will teach you a lesson. No. Bastard, stay away from my elder sister. Lin Hai's eyes bulged out and his face became bloodshot. He wished he could pounce on him and bite the beast Dong Chen to death. At this time, Dong Chen lowered his head and was about to kiss his elder sister Lin Fang's plump and charming red lips. Bang! At this moment, the door of the box room was kicked open from outside. Dong Chen was shocked and looked towards the door in panic. A beautiful woman with an oval face and a hot body, wearing training clothes, strode in. Who are you? Who let you in? Dong Chen was furious. He let go of Lin Fang and pointed at the girl who suddenly broke in, roaring loudly. Get out. You'll be in big trouble if you interrupt my boss's good deeds. Assistant Wang, who had been watching the show from the side, angrily scolded the girl and wanted to drive her away. Bang! The beautiful woman in white training clothes snorted coldly and kicked Assistant One away. Assistant One slammed heavily against the wall of the box, and lay on the ground, holding his abdomen and wailing, unable to get up for a long time. The beauty saw Lin Fang and her two brothers, looking exhausted and unable to get up from their chairs, and her face changed. Asshole! What kind of drug did you give to my elder sister and the others? Hand over the antidote immediately. She took a few steps and came to Dong Chen, whose face was pale, and grabbed his arm and twisted it hard. Snap! Dong Chen's arm was broken, and the excruciating pain made him scream loudly, wishing he were dying. Assistant! It hurts so much, let go. He grimaced in pain, his whole body trembled, and cold sweat covered his forehead. Tell me quickly, what medicine did you take? If you don't tell me, I'll break all the bones in your body. The beauty let go of Dong Chen's broken right hand and kicked the other's right calf hard. Snap! The crisp sound of broken leg bones immediately echoed throughout the box. Oh my god! It hurts so much. Dong Chen knelt on one leg with half of his body drooping. He was in so much pain that tears were streaming down his face and his face was pale. Assistant! I asked you to spare me. Dong Chen took out a small medicine bottle from his arms with his trembling left hand. I'm using 5-spice softening powder. Open the bottle of antidote and let them smell it for a few seconds. They will be detoxified and back to normal soon. Humph! You're smart. The beauty took the antidote and immediately detoxified Lin Hai and his two siblings. After a moment, Lin Hai was the first to return to normal. He looked at the beautiful woman in white training clothes with hesitation. Miss, who are you? Fool! What little sister? I'm your second sister Lin Yu. Brother, how could you be so careless? You almost fell into the trap of this bastard. This oval-faced beauty is actually my second sister Lin Yu? Lin Hai thought of the address book that Butler Wen left for him. The second sister, Lin Yu, is a fighting goddess who is popular on the entire internet. She has defeated many opponents and won gold belts in international fighting tours many times. Seeing today, I found that his fighting power is indeed amazing. But that is not the point. Second sister, if it weren't for you today, we would be in great danger. By the way, why did you come here suddenly? Lin Yu glanced at Dong Chen and snorted coldly. Before, my eldest sister called and asked me to come to the Four Seasons Hotel for a banquet to entertain a friend who came from Shangjing. It is said that the man is the son of my father's good friend. At that time, I was very curious because my father had never mentioned this Dong Chen before. So, I asked someone to do some research and found out that Dong Chen had a long history of bad deeds in Beijing and his character is very bad. After the investigation, I felt a pang in my heart. I felt that he must have a conspiracy when he came here this time. I rushed here in a hurry, but I was still a step too late, and you fell into my trap. Speaking of this, Lin Yu's face was filled with lingering fear. You pervert, you actually dared to set your sights on my sister Lin Yu, you're courting death. Lin Yu glared at Dong Chen, yelled, and stomped on him hard. R. Lin Yu's full-strength attack instantly turned Dong Chen's face purple. Dong Chen let out a shrill scream that shook the earth, and then the screaming stopped abruptly and he fainted. Lin Yu looked at her elder sister Lin Fang, who was pale, and her third sister Lin Yi, who looked aggrieved and frightened, and she still felt unsatisfied. She stomped hard on Dong Chen's still intact left hand and left leg. Snap! Snap! After two crisp sounds, Dong Chen's limbs were all crippled by Lin Yu. With the bright red bloodstains on his vital parts, he looked horrible. Lin Hai was standing nearby, staring in amazement and shock. This second sister has a proud figure, but a hot temper. Read 3. Tips from this site. If you cannot read in the free reading mode, please return to the source site to read.